All right, ladies and gentlemen, I hope you're having a wonderful day. It is June 4th, 2024, and today was supposed to be about the trade deals, final and best offers, and EU, and all of this stuff, and it's still going to be in play, but then in the morning here, we heard a lot of Donald Trump complaining about China, saying that Xi was hard to work with, but then the ADP private payrolls, it came in the worst in the last 2 years. It was like a number like 30,000, and then they even revised the last number from 60,000 to down 2,000. So it's pretty crazy, but that caused a reaction. It got a bit on bonds. It kind of eliminated the rally, but other than that, Wall Street is still quietly getting back in, and yesterday we hit a new high from Liberation Day lows, and everybody's looking to see if that continues here, but we'll see how everybody takes the data. Remember, non-farms is on Friday, so if you're getting a stock bond reaction to jobs data, think about it. That all leads into this. So, Chattadonia, I hope you guys are ready for it. I hope you are feeling good. Oh, there's this stream. Oh, yeah. Good morning, Chattadonia. So, yeah, let's have a good day. Other than that, you got about 2 minutes until the bell. I'm going to be watching CoreWeave. Again, I don't want to force plays. I was going to roll it over. I took my 10,000% yesterday. There is some plays there, but we're going to need the momentum. I wouldn't force it, but there's already a lot of eyes on there, so that could be a fun one. SLV, silver, we've talked about that, the 35 or 15-year price break and everything else, so watch out for that. Snowflake for earnings post. Wells Fargo, we had like cheap 1 penny plays. Let's see how those hold up. And then RDW, they got a NASA contract. HPE was a good one. And then KWM as a small cap Bitcoin reserve type beat. So other than that, Chad, you got 2 minutes. This is the time you post your plays. After the bell, that will be unacceptable. Please read the rules, and if you need any help, let me know with anything, and except for what to buy, because you should just get a long term. China has introduced National Rare Earth Magnet Tracking System. Hot dog. But yeah, what are your plays? This is the time you post them. Other than that, you got 1 minute and 40 seconds. I would get ready. Elon Ma. Elon Ma. Okay, I'm sorry. I'm so sorry.
Regulators.
Good morning. All right, I'll be right back. I'm gonna try to go
kind of indications, but
quick.
Nothing's done until it's done. So, and we certainly wouldn't have communicated anything before 4 o'clock yesterday. There's been a lot of conversation. There's been some celebration inside, which I think is entirely justified. But then a recommitment to what we do going forward. And so those conversations will happen. But I've been getting questions internally, as I have externally, of what happens when the asset cap gets lifted. I'm going to say the same thing internally that I say externally, which is we have a huge amount of opportunities, but it's not like we go from one company one day to all of a sudden huge increases in the balance sheet. It's where's the customer need? What can we be doing to facilitate business out there for customers? And think of it more linearly in terms of what that means, and the benefits will come over a period of time.
Although Jim and I were talking about silos for growth, whether it's commercial banking or credit cards or wealth management, is there one that viewers should be thinking about the most?
No, and part of it is, I really believe this, by the way, that this is...
Oh, come on, let's be real. The
when I
government
got to the
said
company,
we're going to lift the cap so you could buy bonds, because nobody wants to buy bonds.
We
no?
sold a lot of businesses,
Come
good
on.
businesses, asset management business,
Come
but just didn't
on.
belong at Wells Fargo.
Come on, Wells Fargo.
We've
Go make me 15
downsized the mortgage
accounts.
business significantly.
I didn't sign
and
up
so
for
what
them.
we're left with are the things that we all think.
All right, Chad, we got 10 seconds. Call out any plays. You need anything, you let me know. And good luck. Again, this is going to be interesting. And then towards middle of the day, let's see what we hear about all these trade deals and negotiations. Round one. Fight. All right. Oh, the Wells Fargo. They're not moving yet. So, yeah, watch out for that. Those Wells Fargos, again, we noticed them. But that's big news here. Again, this stock was as high as 80 pre-market. So I do think Wells Fargo actually has a lot of potential. But it could also cuck. So don't force it. Don't make a dumb play. But we'll see where that leads to. All right. Yeah, Broadcom again. That's going to be the big earnings. The preview is on the watch list if you guys want that. And then again, watch silver, gold. Nothing big there. Again, the market looked one way up until the data. So again, that not the non-farms, the private payrolls was pretty bad. And then CoreWeave, they're up at 160. Again, hitting a 52-week high here at the cash open. So that is going good. Again, NVO, spreads are widening. They came back up again. Again, they've gone both ways. ASTS. Yeah, bro, there was where is it? There's another space company. They got a NASA deal. Where's the stream alerts. APLD big pop. What is it? That KW, ReadyWire, RDW. I think they're the ones. Mason. Yeah, Redwire got the NASA contract today, or they got some approval from NASA. So yeah, again, so if ASTS, if you see any volume there, I think those might go in sympathy, or one winner, one loser. So watch out for that. APLD big pop. Yeah, the premiums are actually back. So again, if you made them free, you fucking love that. But now they're back to the free, not the free point, but the entry. Yeah, that one's still moving. Again, Boeings are still up 200. Okay. All right, healthcare utilities in the rear. I forgot to look there. And then watch staples, big volume coming in on Wells Fargo. I don't know if the chain just opened or not. Yeah, Wells Fargo premium's moving a little bit. KWM, that's the, is that the Bitcoin one? Yeah. So this is just a small cap. Be very careful, but, I mean, you have watched this develop a few times. So literally, this is just another one of those, oh, Ryder? Why isn't this thing trading? But this is literally one of those Bitcoin, somehow, some way, they're doing a reserve. Wait, K-Wave Media? Isn't that like the church? Yo, am I tripping? Yo, where my older conservatives at, bro? Isn't K-Wave Media like church shit? Am I tripping or not? K-Wave Media. But yeah, either way, they want I don't know the details, but it is on the volume thing. That's it. Well, let me see if I could pull the other thing. Dollar Tree, yeah. Again, we were just talking about Dollar Tree on the thing the other night. Literally last night. Am I thinking K-Love? That's K-Love? Oh, okay. I was like, wow. You love some K-Love. All right, Wells Fargo, bro. Watch out for that one. That one's still going. Yeah, I saw pizza option just went crazy. K-Love. Yeah, right? I'm not tripping, though. Pizza. Yeah, Red, bro, look at this SPY, though. Again, you're already up a quarter. We were up a lot more in the morning, and then you had that little ADP private payroll thing, so very interesting that the melt-up has already resumed. UNH on the high. UNH really running, actually. I don't know. I saw a couple of prints. I don't know what percentage we're talking. It's up 2%. Not bad. Yeah, bro, pizza's at 47 bucks. It's amazing. So, again, this is the breakout point. 50. If it gets up here, it's back into the 50s, essentially. So, yeah, let's see if we get lucky. But, yeah, Boeing did get clapped. I just saw that on the low ticker. But Bradley Frizzle is still in our hearts, and we love him. So, it doesn't change anything. Hey, man, NVO's still going up. Yeah, NVO's actually really going. Nice. And then Sweet Greens, those are still up there. Watch any of the other pizzas. I think Pizza presents today. So again, Pizza, Sweet Greens, Jack in the Box, Kava. You guys brought up Wendy's. I think Wendy's is at one of the meetings as well. But yeah, all of these food plays. Let me see. I thought, are they in the 10th? Ba-da-ba-ba-ba. Yeah, Oppenheimer. Oppenheimer 25th annual June 10th. So they're on June 10th. They present. Meta on the highs. Yalla, and then Spy. I'm actually pretty shocked, man. Again, like I'm saying, you had the melt up. People reacted with the data, and now it's still there. TSM now. That one's still climbing. A lot of names have gone straight up. I'll get you guys a checkup here in a little bit, but it's only been 6 months. Yeah, Pizza had earnings, but I just watch the fucking Watchlist, and you'll understand what I'm saying for that. Yeah, Watchlist. Watchlist is your friend. You have it. You have access to it. Boeing dump, APLD, big pop. Watch the Spy, not the Spy, the space ones. RDW and all that. APLD is just, that was a hype play earlier off the NVIDIA one. Again, we had free contracts the other day. They've came back to green. So again, if you made them free, you had like 50%, 100%, and then they've chilled. But this thing kind of moves odd. Baba on the high, Ford, AI, and then Meta is just going straight up. Bonds are giving up a little bit. So remember in the morning, remember what we went through. You had bonds down, stocks up, data came in, bonds ripped, stocks went down. So now you got stocks back up to where you were at just 30 minutes ago, and now you also have the bonds bid. You see what I'm saying? So we got a lot in store here today, because I don't know which one's going to hold or not, if they're going to go in tandem, but yeah, whatever move you see now, it's probably going to look a lot different here in a couple of hours. So yeah, let's see what happens. Yeah, and watch Staples, very good call. WDC on the high. Watch Wells Fargo. Wells Fargo keeps climbing. That's 3% in 10 minutes. Or at least another extra percent, I'd say. No, yeah, 77 to 78. That's kind of crazy, actually. Citi's still going up. Citi, we've seen that printing every day on the high for the last 3 days. Yeah, you do have service PMIs coming in. Or ISM. So the PMIs, ignore them. People, that's what's... You already have the gap right now. PMIs will come in. Everyone's going to go... But it's ISM. ISM services is the one you want. Again, Wells Fargo and Citi. So banks are looking good. Wells Fargo's the one with news. Greer negotiations with EU are advancing quickly. Okay, that's good. That meets the theme. So again, that's what I'm expecting today. You should just hear a bunch of these little headlines regarding trade and deals and all of that. So let's see if they actually give us any juice. Okay, Wells Fargo again. More volume, bro. Ay, ay, ay. Peloton pop. Shopify. And then Visa. Again, RCAT. There's Broadcom. That's the big earnings tomorrow. Again, we talked about that yesterday. Do it if you want. Otherwise, again, it's up 40% on the fucking quarter. Yeah, Peloton's just up there. No, like, news pop here at the high. Wells Fargo's climbing, you guys. It sucks because we have those shitty plays and now they're moving, but yeah, I want more Wells Fargo, but then I don't want to force it. But then that's big news. Again, since 2018, they've been capped. CCJ, uranium, there's Wells Fargo again. Yeah, but the Fargo premiums are starting to move now. People are starting to chase a little bit. Russia presidential aide seeks 30 to 60-day unconditional ceasefire. Oh, no way. Oh, okay. All right, well, I made some of mine free. No fucking way. I didn't think that would fill. Right, Bank of Canada rate decision coming out. Russia comments are coming as well. Yeah, bro, I made a set of pizzas free. I don't know how. Literally, it just had one of those fat spreads, and I put in an order, and then that was it. So, yeah, I got the Lottos now free. That's shocking. Broadcom popped. Yeah, again, Broadcom's been doing that the last 3 days. RCAT's still going. The Bitcoin one's sucking so far. And then NVO. Oh, yeah, Google, too. I forgot about that. Yeah, Broadcom's up another 3. NE now on the high. Broadcom, 52-week high. Palantir on the low, and now SPY is higher than pre-market. Yeah, ON, that was yesterday. Again, Pizza's up there. Marvel, TSM. Z-Lab. Then Boeing again, they've been on the low. Check Meta, big volume on Broadcom actually. And then Airbnb, see if Wells Fargo goes. We're still holding those. Again, a lot of bad travel headlines, and then they all went up yesterday. So keep that in mind. Z-Lab again. Let's take a look at Staples. Yeah, XLP's not good. And then I haven't seen Mag 7. Google's actually up almost 1%. That's not bad. Amazon is about to go negative. That's not good. Apple is green by 0.5%. That's great. Nvidia 0.5%. That's great. CoreWeave dumping. So Microsoft and Amazon are the laggers right now in terms of Mag 7. And then Staples aren't doing good at all. APLD going to 1230. Jeez. APLD now. So free plays are up 70%, 80%. Jeez. I don't know if that's the spread or not. I don't have the exact contract up. I'm just seeing it in the corner of my eye. And then again, the pizzas are climbing. I was able to make a shitty one free. I don't know how. I literally saw a 300% spread. I put in my order. It filled. And then the original ones are still up. Again, like 300-400 on the bid. But that one's climbing. Again, was it APLD? Yeah. Damn, that thing's up 20. Remember, that was the one with the crazy volume the other day when we went over it. Dash hitting a high, yeah, even yesterday. And then remember, like restaurants, there's a lot going on there, but they're holding up. I saw DoorDash. I haven't seen Uber, and I don't know if you guys are aware, but like transports have been getting murked. You know that? Go look at IYT. If you haven't seen it, it's not like, it's kind of lagging pretty heavy amongst the market. Citi, again, watch out for Wells Fargo. See if that goes. Again, Tesla on the low. APLD might end up being the hype play. Global S&P services. Okay, that's the PMI. Ignore it. Yeah, all right. I took a little bit of the APLD off the table. Just a little bit more. I still have some, but I'm making it double free. MSTR dying. Yeah, Canada keeps rates the same. 275. I don't know when Circle IPO is, but if it has too much of a premium, be careful. Because again, I know you guys might like the IPOs and CoreWeave's gonna get you excited, but go watch yesterday's watch list. Because again, we killed CoreWeave, bro. CoreWeave was insane. We like murdered it. I don't think you realize. Like we murdered 10,000%. Was like the best play, but there was a lot of 2,000-3,000 percenters several times over. But we didn't hit CoreWeave by playing it on IPO. CoreWeave, it was actually a 3-month play. We waited for IPO, then it dropped, and then I got in right around here. It was right on the earth. It was literally 3 months after. So yeah, there's going to be a lot of demand, but if it does not meet criteria, if it has too much premium, I mean, we're not going to be playing it. So be careful. Be careful. Yeah, APLD's fire, bro. If you have those, I can't believe that pizza filled, bro. It's blowing my mind. I'm shocked. Literally, I can't believe I sold it at that price. That's amazing. But yeah, nothing else has gone through. I think that was a fluke, bro. Target, hold, yeah, Target, UPS, and the other one. They Target, UPS, and one more. They like have an odd pin for what's going on. Yeah, pizza. USO, oil on the high. NVO now starting to break out. I don't know where Eli Lilly is. They're both in tandem. You're getting comments from Bank of Canada right now. Then there's XLV. That wasn't the real data, but give it about 13 minutes, and we will be getting the real data of the day. ISM services. SGMT, that was the biotech one yesterday. They even had news this morning. Pepsi straight down, dude. We kept talking about Pepsi yesterday. I love it, dude. I really want it, but I need cash. I need my cash still. But there is ex-dividend coming up, so if you've heard all the Pepsi discussion, you're thinking about a long term, I would make up your mind on that stock very soon, because you have ex-dividend. You might as well get paid 1%. But then again, I wouldn't make a decision just because 1%. That's what you get paid on the quarter. So think about it, but that's going to be a catalyst soon. Alibaba and Nike. Nikes. Yeah, so watch the China plays. Just keep in mind, we are awaiting any of the trade deals. They didn't start off good, but some of them are moving. Even Estee Lauder. All of them, yeah. Estee Lauder got really hyped yesterday. Even Pinduoduo, there's Reddit. Microsoft pop in, good call on that. Microsoft really running, that would be great. Microsoft did not help you out yesterday. So again, I think Amazon and Microsoft were the laggers, so if those go up, that's manis. Sweet Green's going up. Alibaba again. Baba candle's getting bigger. So Alibaba, 40 cents there. Starting to move. Getting higher. Maclim, unusual volatility. I'd keep eyes on China right now. It's still just the morning and data, but like I say, and this is trade day. So watch if that develops there. But again, it hasn't hit any of the like volatility signals. You know, these are all like 0.25%, 0.5% moves. Mountain, MTN, did they get unhalted or were they halted? Owen Osborne, welcome, my friend. Welcome. Yeah, APLD was a CoreWeave deal. Yeah, that was beginning of the week, and then it had insane volume. So I made a play on it on that day. They were stupid cheap with time. Literally, my plays were like 10, 15 cents, not even. But yeah, kept it small. Then it went through. But that was just, look at Baba, bro. Baba's up $1 now on big ass volume. I'm gonna check the volume on Baba, but I would be eyes on that. Oklo. Yeah, Baba's still going. United States and Arab Emirates have agreed to start negotiations on a deal that could roll back tariffs. That is coming out right now. So I don't know why Alibaba is moving, but yeah, now you got something. But I thought we already had a deal with the Emirates. I'm confused. But yeah, that's literally coming in right now. They're saying, so first sign, you had China moving, but the first word I'm getting, besides Greer saying that EU is moving along, now you have that one. United States and United Arab Emirates rollback. But I thought we had good deals with them. That's why I'm like, wait a minute. Okay, Alibaba now, full on dollar in 3 minutes. That's very big. Now you got Uber moving. They're at the highs. DoorDash as well. Pizza. Dude, and supply's coming down. Baba's going up. Microsoft's holding. This has to be Mag 7. Apple's good. Yeah, it's NVIDIA. So watch. If NVIDIA comes down, and yeah, it's the chips pulling you down right now. Everything else is up. So yeah, chips in Tesla. The thing that helped yesterday, it's not there. I see that. It says Russian President Putin says he agrees. It's because Lavrov says all means, including negotiations, should be used to achieve goals of military operations in Ukraine. So Putin agrees to that comment, if you're missing the context. SE on the high. And then HQY, SPY just took a red. That was all NVIDIA and Tesla. So again, Microsoft, Apple, the other big sevens, surprisingly doing very well. Canadian headlines, and then 8 minutes till the real data. The ISM services. A volume check on Pinduoduo. I can. Baba's going to go above average today. So Baba's already trading above average for 950, and they're predicting 12.3 million in volume today on Alibaba. And then Pinduoduo is low. It's actually trading half of expected volume by 950 right now. Expected to do 4.9 million on the day, which is very low for them. So I hope that helps, and good luck. Eli Lilly on the high. Again, NVO was just on the high, so now Eli Lilly. And then, bro, pizza options. Different ones, but they're moving around. I'm actually getting blown away right now. Come on, give me another fill, Habibi. APLD still up as well. Even in Vitis. Yeah, the Wells Fargo's, the far out the money ones are still kind of dead, but they've climbed a lot. I haven't looked at that one yet. Boeing chilled out, so I'm glad we took some profits on those yesterday. Oh! I didn't even see it! Ah! I look over! I was saying Boeing, and then I look over, and then Bradley Frizzle lit the page! Oh! Horn! A legend. Every day you see a legend. You know that? You know, you don't even know how to act. They legendary, bro. Halo legendary. They don't, man. Stop it. Amazing, bro. Well, good morning, Bradley Frizzle. How you feel? How you feel about Boeing? We gonna get a deal? Allah. Boom. Man. Dude, Boeing this has been a crazy year, man. You know, and Bradley Frizzle knew the whole time. You know that? From day one. He never went back. He always. I scared you? No, I woke you up. It's okay. Big difference. You'll be okay. Ascend on the high. All right. Pizza. Okay, SPY, it's funny, man, because we moved a lot more than yesterday. I don't know if you guys realize that. Like, just think off of the morning, bro. We had gap up, start going down, pre-market off data. Within 10 minutes, rip back up, and then now we're chilling. So now, if we dance around, we feel there. But, like, so far, you're actually, like, moving up and down, like, quicker and faster than the last couple of days. USO on the high. Oil. U.S. said to refuse air cover for Europe in post-war Ukraine. But, yeah, so SPY is just literally flirting at where we sold off on the ADP. That's literally right now. And then look at bonds. Like I told you, and then in about 5 or 4 minutes, you are going to get the ISM service data. There's Meta, though. So Meta is lifting up the market. That's good for it. Again, Microsoft, Apple, I think it's just NVIDIA and Tesla. Those are the big 7 that is keeping you down today. And then watch if like TSM and those other guys go up or down with it. Yeah, chop for the melt up. I even think just end of the week you'll know. Because again, it's like today's jobs data, it's getting big, it's reacting. People are talking about all these things, you know? Just keep in mind, that's kind of how we're going to move forward. Is that by Friday, if the non-farms and everything's good, green light, we might, again, you're right at the 5,600. We might be able to break out. Otherwise, if the earnings, Broadcom kills AI, data's not good, trade deals sour, maybe we go back to 5,600 or 53. So anything's in play. We talked about it yesterday. Unfortunately, though, my child, the logic is the same at the extreme highs and the extreme lows. You know, we're just moving around. Like I told you guys 2 months ago, pick your frustration and decide early. That will set you up the best. So, but even for this week, the Wall Street's been banging for that breakout or breakdown. I think it's going to be a nice little setup between how all the data and earnings kind of materializes by Friday and these trade deals. So we'll see, but you're on the right track, but just don't get impatient and don't get uncertain, and just anything can change and happen. I can't stress that enough, and I really think some of the newer investors or people who kind of got lulled into the Biden market, I don't mean that with shade, it trades clearly different. You know, you want to be aware of kind of where we're at right now, and just don't stop making up your mind so soon and stop getting involved in the emotions, and I think that'll help you a lot. Microsoft on the high, yeah, bro. And then Meta, but now look at bonds. So look, data's about to come out. SPY is back up to the data in the morning level, and bonds benefited off of the drop, but now stocks aren't dropped, and then the bonds are up. So that's going to flip possibly. MDB, Mongo, that's on the high. Spotify, Mulan. Let's get down to business to defeat the market makers. No, okay, it didn't work as well. All right, minute and a half. ISM service data is what you are going to be on the lookout for, my brethren. So, let's refresh that. So, you're looking for 52 on the gauge, the composite. Then employment is at 50. And then prices at 65.7. Jeez. So, yeah, the prices could skyrocket. That could freak motherfuckers out. And then just watch employment, because, again, low employment today was the theme of ADP. And then just watch the overall activity. But I do think employment and prices of the services gauge might be the better one. Circle IPO, I don't really know, but just good luck and be careful. And I hope you're aware of the criteria. It seems like a lot of people are hyped and they're hearing the oversubscribed. But, yeah, just be wise. And I hope you have educated yourself on the matter leading into it. Spotify, I own Spotify at like $116 or something. So it sucks because we had a pickup point the other day or the other year, but we didn't take it. But yeah, I'm not buying that for a long time until it comes down. Oil. I think oil, is it 3 days in a row? All right, data. ISM services, 49.9. No way. So it came in lower. Oh, prices went higher, I believe. Yep. Yeah, 68. Oh, my goodness. Yeah, bro. Prices surged. So like I told you, this isn't going to be the good one. Prices surged, and then unemployment did good, though. So that's a little different than what you got today. So at least you could have that. But yeah, bro, prices rocketed up. Because I don't like the trend. Because it's one thing for it to go up, but just how I've told you guys in many capacities. Look at, this is how you guys read data, you fucking biased. But, you know, it's been 6 months of it going up, and at now, what, we're talking 10, 20%. So, yeah, that has been a straight line. It was already getting high into these high ranges, but like I'm telling you, you're breaking out, and last time you've had those breakouts, that's not good. So I don't think the prices are good. I don't think the employment's kind of in the middle. See, you guys, but this is how you're supposed to read data, you know, guys, because that's why when I've showed you the other inflation in like 9 months in a row, they're like, look at the next one. No, it's still good. No, it's okay. But yeah, that's bad. I think the prices are bad. Everything else is already expected, but prices aren't good on that. And then service activity is active. So that just all depends on how you want to take it. Yeah, the economy is doing good. Employment's better. It's not like the service economy is slowing down, but there is a 6-month price increase on the service side. But remember, service prices and these gauges, bro, doesn't necessarily mean it goes. The companies don't have to pass this on to the consumer. This is just what they're paying. So think about that. Because consumer inflation data has not gone up, but corporation inflation data has. And that's what that shows. But overall, I would say that leans a little negative because prices, everything else is the same. So interesting. You're already back up. You had a knife there, I think, a little freak out. So yeah, we'll find out. Club. Oh, I thought I was looking for the circle one. Yeah, hard data will. I mean, hard data, though, the problem is going to be you have to wait for it. So you could spend 1 month, 2 months, 3 months, and then nothing changes, and then the month it does, that will be when we move. But yeah, no, that's why I'm saying whatever you feel today, and I think, homeboy, you're on the right track when he was like, oh, yeah, maybe we do break out, and maybe the chop is what we need. That's going to depend on the hard data by Friday with all of it. What, Nick, about to go live? Sorry. Howard!
And here...
Where's Howard?
9.9. The headline was supposed to come in at 52, expansion territory, but instead it moves to contraction under 50. And the last time it was under 50 was June of last year, and that's when we comp to on this number. If we look at prices paid, the opposite. They're moving higher
Anvis,
from 65.1 to 68.7.
Okay, SPY coming down. It's working back to the little data knife.
Expected.
So watch out. Again, data,
just
like you had the data today, employment was bad, people got worried. This data doesn't mean the economy's bad.
Then the inflationary implications of prices paid. New orders, 46.4.
So yeah,
once again,
either way, though, you are getting reactions today.
And that's the weakest all the way back since D's.
And then Russell already went red, SPY, Dow, S&P,
on the employment front, and this is important because we had a weak ADP. And of course, Friday we have the big jobs report. This one climbed over 50.
Apple.
50.7.
So Apple popping as we go down.
Well, just
get ready. See if Max 7. This might be Max 7's moment. You guys see it? Look,
now
Apple up.
Sit at 440,
Microsoft still up. The market's
exactly
kind of meandering. The video is going to be the drag today, unless that flips, because they were the leaders yesterday.
All right, Rick Santelli, thank you very much.
Thank you,
Meantime,
Rick.
some new data from the New York Fed this morning. A survey of some 300 businesses found that for those facing tariff cost increases,
APLD is back above 100%. Where's that
some
shit
of
at,
that
man?
to their customers, with nearly
Let me
a
get the
third of
volume check on that.
manufacturers, almost
Yeah,
half
bro,
of service
premiums are
firms
climbing.
fully
The stock's
passing
not
along
moving.
all tariff costs
So
by raising
APLD,
prices.
that
The others
Bitcoin
reported
stock
they
is
were
moving again,
absorbing
the
some
little
of the
reserve
cost
one from
hikes.
the morning.
Despite the uncertainty around the trade policy,
Or I put
businesses
Apple
are
instead
reacting
of
quickly.
APLD.
Over half of manufacturers and service firms said
Yeah,
they raised
VWAP is at
prices within a month
1180 though.
of
So
experiencing
VWAP is
those
lower
cost
on
increases,
APLD.
many within a day or a week. Something we'll keep an eye on. Again, sort of this is, again,
yeah,
we
holy
talked about
shit.
the shift between
Okay,
survey
so it's
data and the
expected
hard
to have
data,
more
but
volume
this
than
is
the other
certainly
day
one
when we made the
way
play.
Respondents are talking
But then
about
again,
this
the other
happening.
day I was predicting a lot of volume, and then it dried out.
Inflation numbers, because
So,
it hasn't yet.
the other day, like, look, the other day it
and now we're seeing softer
predicted
job numbers.
200.
So that's where ADP comes in today. Private sector jobs read, and it was much weaker than expected. Only 37,000
Yeah, it predicted like
jobs were
200
added
volume,
in
and
the
then it
month
only did like
of
100 or
May.
something.
Weaker than expected, and
careful.
a big step down, as you can see from April. It's actually the weakest level in 2 years. What does this mean for Friday's
But
jobs
yeah,
report?
it's already
Well,
trading well
there's not
above
a really
average.
direct correlation.
The VWAP's
Some
a little
people see it as
lower.
a leading indicator.
And then again, the Bitcoin
but it
one.
is worth paying
Okay,
attention
bonds
to
are going up
because
now.
it
This
gives us a snapshot.
even
of
more
what
mind-boggling, because like
companies
I'm
are
telling
doing.
you,
And if you break that down further,
the market went down
you can
today,
see the
bonds
job
went up
losses
today
really
on weak
came in the
jobs
goods-producing
data.
sectors.
This
But
wasn't weak
2000
economy.
negative
That was
on that,
inflation data.
where
But
services
then
producing
stocks went down,
sectors
bonds
were
went up.
still
Bonds don't
gaining.
go up
That
on
tells you
inflation
it's about
data.
tariffs, right?
Think
Because
about
that's
it.
where the tariffs are. They're on goods-producing sectors. It's no wonder President Trump tweeted, ADP number out, too late Powell must lower the rate. He is unbelievable. Europe has lowered 9 times. If he's making the argument
EA.
to get ahead of the economic weakness and we're not seeing inflation.
All right, well, tell me when Lutnick comes on. Yeah. And then that Bitcoin one, that small cap, I think the VWAP is a lot lower. So APLD, VWAP, it's trading above VWAP. The other one is trading below. On running the regression on, I'm not doing all that. I'm not that smart. My computer is, though, and my data that I buy. So that's it. That's the secret, man. That's it. Nothing special. Apple. Okay, now watch if the big tech starts to come down. Like I'm telling you, just 2 minutes ago, you saw how they were leading up. So you're going to the low. Bonds are catching it. I don't know if it's off fear bid or the data, but then again, like I'm telling you, the market is willing to move today off of these. Like pre-market to now, bro. Look, drop, pop, drop. So, and then you're going to have trade deals. So get ready. But yeah, you're going down now. You're breaking. NASDAQ just flipped red. So you got more broader drop. I'm going to get you guys a checkup here in a second. The Russell is down now too. And then SPY and Dow are barely holding on. I want the equal weight. Let's see. Oh, equal weight is down by 0.9. Oh, I was like, it could have been worse. But yeah, still, that one's starting to go down. Mexico have measures next week if no steel deal. Hot dog. U.S. steel. And then Canada, Carney. U.S. steel tariffs are illegal. Okay. So now Mexico and Canada are clapping back. And then the Bitcoin small cap play is breaking out now. Again, volume surging in. It did its little sell. It was below VWAP. Now it's above VWAP. Yeah, bro, I honestly think Mexico and Canada are ratcheting up tensions again. So now that's not good, too. Throw that in the mix of it. Remember, best and final offer by Wednesday. But remember, it might sound negative in the beginning, and then you might get a follow-up headline that's positive. But either way, you got a couple of things. You have data, Mexico headline, Canada headline, and there's one more thing in there, too. So, yeah, watch out for that. Okay, watch small caps, too, because, look, APLD, that one's dumping. But now, look, as we started dumping, that small cap Bitcoin one just started taking off. So watch, because, again, that's what's been going on is everybody, if they don't want to deal with this bullshit, they just run to the small caps. But that's going to be hit or miss. All right. That bond's very, very odd. Let's see what we hear from Mexico, though. Putin attacks in Bryansk and Kursk are undoubtedly an act of terrorism. Very, very interesting. Okay, Core Weave now. Hims on the low. Yeah, bro. KWM, so this one, the VWAP is at 462. So that's what I was saying. It was trading well below VWAP, and then those two volume bars got it above now. But yeah, I don't see any other. What's the other small cap shit? Qubits and all those. Tell me if any of those start to move. I'm just seeing for, again, how people are feeling. Okay, Tesla too, and then I do think NVIDIA drag. You can't have a good lift from Mag 7, but they need to do good. Staples flipped with it. That'd be good, but Staples were leading the way down earlier. Yeah, they at least got a bid. That's better than yesterday, because remember, yesterday, you didn't really have the Mag 7, and then the Staples didn't play along. All right, you're bouncing off of that. Bonds went straight up. Very interesting reaction. I think we have a lot more in store, you guys. So, again, you're already watching data, jobs data, ISM. That was the other one. You had ISM services. Now you're hearing from Mexico and Canada. We heard Greer say EU. This is all within an hour and 10 minutes. So, pretty fun, and we might have more. Now let me get you guys that checkup. EA on the high, then Apple. Why wouldn't it? My shit's not loading. All right. Yen and Swiss are green. WPM. Baba again. Bro, meanwhile, Baba is just running on all of this. Yeah. And then Wells Fargo gave it all up. All right, Dow Jones, you have 16 names green, 14 in the red. That's actually not bad at all. I'm kind of surprised. I guess that's word to the gap up. Yen on the high, China names all going. And then NASDAQ, 60 in the green, 41 in the red, with CrowdStrike being the worst. That's crazy, too. So yeah, you have way more advancers right now. Not way more, but doing good. And then SPY, that's the one that's 238 green, 260 in the red. Okay, Baba, bro, breakout now. Putin says he doubts possibility of summit with Ukraine and ceasefire amid latest attacks. Okay, Baba. Crowd is starting to rip though. Again, that was the lowest on the Nasdaq. See if the bonds break out or not, or if this stops. Otherwise, though, still this little fear reaction is still in play, you guys. So be careful. Oh, Jim Kramer joined the chat. Well, listen, if you're one of those guys who like LARPs as like a fake person and thinks it's cute, I'm gonna ban you. Okay, so just please be yourself. I just tell you now, because those are hit or miss. I'm just telling you, in my experience, very, very hit or miss. You know what I'm saying? Because then they're like, oh, I'm Jim Kramer, ha 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 ha. And then sometimes it's funny, and then sometimes I'm like, bro, you are a grown adult right now. You need to get a fucking long term. Stop LARPing. But yeah, welcome. But that's I'm Jim Kramer. No, you're not. Stop it. Okay. Yeah, crowd going up. Yeah, Peloton again. You guys called that off the morning. I was like, it wasn't really like moving off news, but that little breakout there on volume. Oh, KWM. Hi. Well, it's like I was telling you, right below VWAP. It was there, but too late now, brothers. Too late now. That's it. Don't chase it. Again, if it was below, I went negative on it right away. And I even said I usually go negative on these, but you had the little below VWAP window for a tiny bit. Still a scam, so be careful. Don't get ahead of yourself. Adabe. Yeah, dude, Broadcom's crazy. And everybody is hyped on young Broadcom. Bro, I think KWM only had... Wait till they do a fucking offering, but... Yeah, bro. It has 63 million shares. The other one, though, SBET was like, what, 500,000 shares? Yeah, 660,000. So there was a huge difference. Okay, make that free or take your profit. My job is done. I usually lose on these plays, so I'm happy, but that's 30-something fucking percent, dude. You could walk away with at least like 100 free shares if you really wanted to. So yeah, I always lose on these, so be careful, but I'm glad I got you guys a winner, and take it, and that's it. Call it a day. Buying the Bibsy. Okay, Meta's on the high. And then SPY's already bouncing back up, man. No fucking way. Yeah, Meta's going really crazy. Bro, Meta's like helping us right now in the long term today, too. I don't know, long term's doing very good, even though we're barely moving. Quite shocked. Oh, because Alibaba as well. I guess that makes sense. Lutnick improving chip commitments to more than 300 billion. Are? Is this related to NVIDIA? Because again, we heard about the Emirates and the Saudis. So maybe that could be it. Is there somewhere to look for other KWM stocks? What do you got to just lock in the morning, bro. And then there's still scams. That's what sucks about these games, is that I find these every single morning. Yeah, some of them will hit, but then a lot of them, there's just like a window to make money on it, and then that's it. But if I were you, I'd wake up early, and if you do come in the morning when I go over, so if you guys didn't know, if you're a member we have a private morning session. So 30 minutes before at 6 a.m., I'm going over all the news. Actually, I'll even show you how I found this one. This is the funniest part. If you want to see it, it's actually hilarious. Because I only discovered that play not too long ago. And just by paying attention, I was like, oh, that's exactly what SBet did the other day. But it's still really scammy. I just keep it small. It's free. Make it free right away. And that's it. And let everybody else do the worrying part. You're there for the Pledge of Allegiance? Well, that was there in the morning. And then even SBet, even MCR. But these are all small cap shit plays. So I could find them, but you have to understand they're shitty. And what I mean by that is like you could find them, you can know it, but it doesn't mean you're going to make a lot of money. It means you're probably going to play a really emotional game of chasing. So that's it. But at the end of the day, this is the information that we cover in the morning. So like, look, I have it. I remember this vividly because I was reading it.
Ladies and gentlemen, I hope you're having a wonderful morning.
Yeah, look.
Earnings, FLS, all stock merger with GTLS.
D up 2.6, Barclays upgrade, ALV raises dividend, new repurchase program. They're up 2.1. NG is up by 2.1. RBC upgrade. KWM is up 53. 500 million stock sale agreement with Bitcoin Strategic Reserve. Oh, that's one of them. So again, this was just like SBet. Same. I need to look into the details, but they did the same exact bullshit. Where I was like, you guys aren't even worth 500 million. Where the fuck did you get it? Yeah, so that was in the morning. That's how I found it. I was going over my news that I share with all of you. I skimmed over it in the morning. I didn't realize it. And as I was reading it to you guys, I said, oh shit. And then I wrote it down, sent it out to the stream alerts, and then we acted on it after the first drop. And then I sent out the stream alert, and then, yeah, now we're here. But yeah, that's how you find it. So lock in the morning. I mean, in the I could go over stuff too in the morning if you find one. So if you see a small cap, like I have another thing. I have something that shows me every crazy dumb volume. I could pretty much track certain market makers. So I could see the block trades in the morning. But the only problem is that, like I'm telling you, I've already back tested it all. There's no like, it's like a 50% correlation. It doesn't do anything. You get what I'm saying? So sometimes you're going to find these and you'll love it. Other times you're just going to lose money. There's no like guaranteed if you find it early or know about this, it's going to work right away. So as long as you're aware of that, it could be there. Then in the morning, just ask me and I'll print out the list or I'll give you screenshots and then we could go from there. It's crazy though. The VWAP is still at 480 on this now. So again, the VWAP is at low 470s prior, but it won't go up. Yeah, most of the volume was bought like here. You see that? So now it's changing hands. Let me check the turnover. I don't think it has. Oh, no way. So, dude, it hasn't even turned over the float. Wow. So that has a decent VWAP, but I would have thought by now it would have turned it. It didn't. So there's still shares that haven't traded. So usually some of these small caps, bro, all of the shares will get traded in that day. Holo, remember, that one was scammy yesterday, so be careful. As always. And then bonds coming down as we get back to VWAP. That makes more sense. Again, that made no sense at all. You just had bonds go up on bad inflation data. Yeah, Meta's getting, again, Mag 7 leadership. And then just with everything else going on, bro, like, it's that AI development shit is crazy with the ads. I'm a big fan. But people, remember in the beginning of the year, Meta was the leader. Even when everybody else was doing their thing. Remember, Meta did that craziness? then, yeah, I don't think we just got to wait for the trade deals now. It's 7:30. So we've been here for about an hour. What's the volume at? 12 million, 12.9, not bad. It was lower, I feel like, on Monday. Crowd is on the high now again. They were bad. At Noah, I remember seeing Noah. And then you're Noah. I like Noah. It's a good name. Or am I thinking of something else? We saw something with Noah, but if it's China's small cap, it's just a gamble, to be honest. That's, again, we played them before, but you just need the Chinese to really start popping off. Other than that, I only like mega cap China. Baba, Baidu, those are literally the only ones. Every single other one is just a trade, a flip, call it a day. Don't fall in love. I don't know anything about this. I know Noah's Ark. You know what I'm saying? I know Noah Callahan, but I don't know Noah China. What do you mean Noah China? Who's what? This is bullshit. APLD, we already made plays free multiple times. That one's just a little, again, pump. That's what sucks. That a lot of these pump ones, those are the ones lately. And then pizza. The APLDs are still 100. Okay, Wells Fargo chilled out. Did the Bobo. Pizza, yeah, bro. Pizza's in the breakout zone, you guys. All jokes aside, it's near the 50 level or above 47. And then once again, I'm just looking for them to overtake Domino's on the trend. But then again, they're kind of moving. Invitas on the high, another small cap. YPF, Argentina, that one's going up. Dollar Tree on the low. And then Noah, homeboy who just called that one out. That one's on the high. Yeah, CMG, it popped off the other day with all the other food plays. Lutnick, USMCA goods have no tariffs. So that's Russia and
that adds 2 points
the other one. Where is he?
next decade to national debt.
So what it's like is it's like being on a ship in which everybody agrees that if you don't turn a course, and whether you go left or right, if you have this, don't get to the 3%, you're probably going to hit the rocks. And what you have is a political conflict
This is Ray Dalio.
about arguing over how to cut the debt, how to cut the deficit and do it. And this chance is passing us by.
So it sounds like you would
Yeah,
like to
Lutnick's
see the
before
Fed
Congress.
actually lower
Which
interest rates because the
products
interest.
are
Sorry,
under
Ray, I like you, Ray.
USMCA. That would be very helpful to us.
I didn't know this was
believe
going on.
that a lot
So
of the
Lutnick's before
cases
Congress
that
right
I've
now.
mentioned will be under the USMCA and thus
Correct.
exempt from the tariff. But it would
Howard,
be
wait. Where's
good
Howard?
to have some certainty in
Howard.
that area. So if we could work with you and your staff to try to get a more definitive list, that would be very
Sure, that primarily comes from USTR, but I will call
Okay.
them and I will have it to you.
Thank
No
you.
Work
problem.
on the
so much.
high.
you,
AstraZeneca.
Chairman Collins,
And
thank
even
you very
Riot.
much. Senator Van Hollen.
And then even Japan. So again, a
Thank
lot of
you.
things are moving. You got a couple
So,
of
Mr.
hype
Secretary,
names on
I
the
mentioned in
low.
my opening comments the RIF plans. On February 11th, President
the
Trump signed an
KWM came
executive
back
order
down, now it's back to
requiring
VWAP.
agency heads to plan, quote, large-scale reductions in force, known as RIFs, and agency reorganization plans. On March 27th, Senator Moran and I sent you a letter requesting that you send us the plans the department submitted to
THC
the
on the
White
high,
House.
kind of.
It's now June
Merck.
4th. We've not
Okay,
received
Merck is up
a
2.5.
response.
XLV starting
We're in the
to
middle
get
of a
rampy here.
budget hearing.
Again,
First
SPY
of
just
all,
right at the
you would
open
agree,
from the
would you
morning.
not, that
It's kind of crazy.
your reorganization plans are relevant to the
KB
committee's
home, no
consideration
fucking
of
way.
the budget?
I think our proposal for the budget is clear, so I think it takes those things into account.
Mr. Secretary, let me ask you this. Are you going to provide us with the reorganization plan and when?
Dollar General
I will,
now is getting some of
certainly
the
get
Dollar
together
Tree
with,
pain.
with the department, and we will consider what information we can give you that makes sense. But I'm happy to
Yeah,
work
bro,
with
small,
you.
long-term
offline
Spotify. How
if
about
you'd
you keep
like.
bringing up Spotify?
Okay, Mr. Secretary,
thing's running
you're
today.
aware of the fact that a federal district court ruled that the RIF plans proposed by the Trump administration could not go forward because the judge stated that, quote, agencies may not conduct large-scale reorganizations and reductions in force in blatant disregard of Congress's mandates, and a president may not initiate large-scale executive branch
Okay, you're starting
reorganization
to move
without
up. Again, this
partnering
is Lutnick talking. You're going to get headlines.
That
but you
decision was
still be on the
upheld by
lookout
an
for any
appellate
other
court
trade
just a
deals.
few
We had a little
days
freak out
ago.
there with the data and
I'm not
everything
asking you to
else,
opine
but now
on
you're
that
back
legal
up,
decision.
and then bonds
I'm simply
actually
asking you to
advanced.
provide
It's
the
kind of
committee
crazy.
with
Now
the
equities are
reorganization
holding up,
plan.
and you just held bonds
and your
advanced.
response
It's kind of nuts,
is
even though they're coming down right now.
maybe yes, maybe no.
So yeah, you're starting to move
am
up.
I
There's
getting that
Kava.
right?
Don't forget
I mean,
Sweet Greens, Jack in a
Are
Box.
you going to provide the plan to the
Wendy's,
Congress,
pizza,
this
pizza,
committee
all of them.
as we review the budget
Cody,
for
no.
the upcoming year?
I'll buy.
Well,
Cody's
we-
at $5.
We at the department are going to follow the law.
This is like a $2
That, of course,
stock.
is what
Yeah.
we're going to do.
I mean,
well,
maybe
the law actually does
honestly,
require that you
I would
submit these
prefer it
major
at like
changes to
$2-3.
the
They're still
Senate.
downside.
Let me
I don't
let me
think
ask
they're the
you
best
this.
in the makeup industry.
I
but
mentioned in my opening
at a low
statement
enough
the fact
price,
that
that could be worth
I'd
it.
sent a number of letters to you. Our staff has actually sent inquiries to your
Let me look into
your
them a
team.
little more. But I would prefer
I have a
them
lot
at
of questions
$2.
today, but they'll be a lot longer.
Okay, SPY ramping a little harder.
Unless I
Tesla
can get a
down.
commitment that you and your team will respond to the inquiries we've made. These are simple questions. They don't, and I'll set aside for now the RIF plan. And Mr. Chairman, I would ask unanimous consent to submit to the record the letters that I have sent to the Secretary and the staff inquiries that my team has made.
Without objection.
Mr. Secretary, will you agree, say within a week, to get responses to these inquiries?
I can easily agree that I will go through your letters, and to the extent I can answer them, I will happily answer you within a week.
Well, what do you, when you say?
I don't know what the letters
This is
say
an
as I
oversight
sit here right
question.
now, so.
Well, okay, Mr. Secretary, their question. I can. Well,
These little smirk.
I'll read through some of them later in the hearing.
CRK, I've seen
we
that
can
a
go
couple
through them
times.
one by one. They're pretty
Comstock.
straightforward, simple questions about the implications of the department's actions on certain programs. Let me turn to the National Weather Service for a moment because, as you know, originally 600 staff were eliminated from the National Weather Service. Then all of a sudden, it seems the department realized that this was not really a good idea, as many weather stations around the country, and the chairman referenced some of them, said they couldn't be staffed full-time. We have a headline from just May 15th, Washington Post: NOAA scrambles to fill forecasting jobs as hurricane season looms. I know that we're scrambling to try and rehire about 100 or hire 126 people, but Mr. Secretary, it's my understanding that as of today, offices in Kansas, Alaska, and Oregon are no longer operating 24 hours a day. Is that accurate?
The department employs 2,100 meteorologists and hundreds of,
Chipotle still, that's
of
part of the
other
food thing, man.
forecasters.
Yeah,
okay?
they're all going.
This is less than 5%. We are fully
Jack in the Box, Wendy's,
staffed.
Chipotle,
There
all of
is
the little
no,
food places.
There are no openings on the National Hurricane Center. Zero. It is fully staffed.
still on the
we
low.
are fully ready for hurricane season, and our meteorologists
Mr.
are
Secretary,
fully staffed.
you did not answer.
Fully staffed.
You did not answer the direct question about whether those weather offices are open full time, and it's obvious that you all made a huge mistake. I mean, you've acknowledged it by having to rehire 126 people. But can you just comment on whether or not those offices
Crude
I mentioned
inventories
are operating
minus
24 hours a day?
4.3 million. Estimate was minus
I did
2.9.
not say such a thing.
I didn't say you
Okay,
did. It's
Spy's
pretty
trying to
obvious from
break
the actions.
out. I mean, who's our big tech leader? Is it Apple?
As
Or
I
is it
said,
Meta? It has to be Meta.
fired
News
600,
report
you're
was
rehired.
inaccurate, obviously.
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 We're happy to follow up, and you
Obviously?
can provide the facts.
Sure.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman.
Mr. Secretary, in Kansas, we have lots of manufacturers, and the aviation and aerospace industry is a significant component of that. That industry has a very positive trade balance, perhaps the best in our country.
Fantastic.
And I wonder how the Department of Commerce is going to act to protect that trade surplus as you have negotiations with other countries for trade agreements. There's a 0 over 0 tariff provision on aerospace parts and tools Is that something that you would continue under the 1979 agreement in the aviation aerospace industry? Is that something you will pursue in trying to maintain so that trade balance continues to be such a positive for our nation?
Our nation's aircraft business is, as you correctly say, a fantastic asset of our country.
Hey, high ticker's
one of the
still
great
going, bro. Look at that.
exports of our
You
country.
had like 10 seconds. The low
we
ticker
are
didn't
going
move at
to
all.
protect it. So
Rider
we have
on the
a
high,
232
PayPal,
in the Commerce
and
Department,
Vitis,
but we
even
do
UPS, bro. I'm
expect,
seeing
as we
shipping.
did with the UK,
And then
we
Kava, add that to
negotiated
the
a
restaurant
zero
list.
tariff
Yeah, even
with
UPS
them,
coming
and I
out,
would
again, a
expect
couple of
if
other
other
transports
countries play ball with
great.
us, that I would expect
Sky's
that's an
kinda
offer we
wicking.
make, provided they're buying our aircraft.
Meta's slowing.
Remember, in
See if that
exchange for
plays
us
long
doing a
enough.
zero tariff, I mean, think of Donald Trump. He then gets an agreement by British Airways to buy $10 billion. They were competing with Airbus, and in part of that agreement, they committed
bro,
to buying
Cody is
Boeing
crazy.
aircraft of $10 billion.
Are you ready for this?
That's exactly the way the Trump administration
Dude, this is
thinks
nuts.
about these kind of negotiations.
this.
Make sure it wins.
Bro, the
for
market
American
cap
industry.
of ELF
You
is
mentioned
6.5
Section
billion.
232
The market cap
dealing
of
with
Cody
aircraft
at
and jet
$4,
engines
$5
in particular.
is
The comment period
$4.3 billion.
expired, I think, yesterday. What do you expect to occur
So I'm
next?
looking into it because I
Well,
know
we
the
expect
brand. I'm
by
trying to
the-
see their numbers.
probably by the end
But yeah,
of the
they got
month
a
we'll
high
have
enterprise value, but
we'll have an
it's
analysis and
still
we'll set the
kind of
standard
expensive.
for aircraft part tariffs.
Ray
We're going
Dalio,
to
we're gonna
discuss
be
it
in
with
a
the president.
period of greater
We'll
than
discuss
normal
the
rates.
analysis.
Okay, Unity
and
on
we
the
will
high.
take due
Gold is starting to
consideration
move
on what
up.
to do. But the key is to protect our industry and
Baba,
make sure those
dude,
who
Baba
trade
and
with
Baidu,
us
since we
treat
had the
us
first
fairly.
call out, bro, that
and I
thing's
think
just
we
ripping
will
all
use
day,
these tools
and we haven't had a
to the
China headline
betterment
yet.
of American industry.
In the aircraft and aviation aerospace industry, it's there are certainly large companies. You mentioned Boeing as
ticker for
a
pizza?
a particular player
I'm
in
just
that
gonna
field.
just
but
take a lap,
that's
brother.
and that's true in
Just take a
Kansas.
lap.
We have some large
If you
companies
need
who
me to tell you that,
manufacture
it's not, I'm
aircraft
not gonna
and aircraft
ban you,
parts.
but I'm gonna let you.
But there's
just
also a lot of mom
go
and
for a
pop
walk real quick, let the
manufacturers,
answer
small
come to you.
businesses
Okay.
are in that arena.
I cannot reduce
And
the
one of the
background
ways
noise.
we've
It's
been
easier
able to
to
help
reduce
those small
individuals in the
manufacturers,
chat.
aviation and otherwise,
Thank you.
is the Hollings Manufacturer Extension Partnership
Yeah,
Program.
we'll set
that we
aircraft
refer
tariffs
to as
by
MEP.
end of the month. That's what Letnick said.
I've heard from manufacturers in Kansas about the importance of that program, and I'm interested in knowing. It doesn't appear that it's
Is
going
that
to
why
be
Ryanair
funded
went up?
by what in your budget. Or it's not going to be funded by, not going to be requesting funding. How does the department intend to replace the manufacturer's assistance that comes from MEP to
I'm
make
gonna
sure
ban
that our
you,
small
you don't- if
manufacturers
you don't
have the
retract
best
your
access to
messages.
technology and
I will ban
techniques
you.
to compete with the larger
So you better
companies who
retract them
sometimes
quickly.
dominate manufacturing?
Programs that were set up by the Department of Commerce decades ago to assist in technology for manufacturing tend to be outdated. The new technology is AI driven, automated. I think we need to re-examine and retool a whole variety of these programs so that we are able to provide the best technological assistance rather
Wacker
than
Newson,
just continuing a
main
program
shareholder,
that's decades
said
and
to
decades
explore
old.
sale.
So I'm very focused, and our department is very focused
And
on
then
making
whatever that
sure
was,
we're bringing
ICLO
our
popped, and then who's
manufacturers
Wacker
the
Newson?
best tools, and we're examining them.
Yo,
and we will do that. And you know, you have a
WKRCF.
great plant for Panasonic in Kansas. It's fantastic, and that's
Whatever
exactly
this
the
fucking
kind
stock
of
is, bro.
manufacturing we hope to reshore.
If
in
random
America.
ass
Thank you for knowing about the presence of Panasonic in Kansas
WKRCF might
and
be
its value to
exploring.
our
I
state
have
and the
no
country.
idea what this is.
I'm going to
I'm getting it. Wacker Newson, main shareholder,
next turn to
said to
Senator
explore
Kennedy.
sale.
But I hope your budget that we will see, I hope in the near future, it shows us the path that you intend to take to make certain that the latest technologies are available to small manufacturers. Senator Kennedy. Oh yes, it is. Senator Reid.
It's
I'm
foreign
sorry, I spent
usually.
time
That's
with
why
you
when
on the
they're
Senate
weird
floor
like that.
yesterday and overlooked you today.
Easily overlooked.
not intentionally. Senator Reid.
Thank you very much, Mr. Chairman. Thank you, Mr. Secretary. We've all been talking about bottlenecks, in fact, in the department and elsewhere throughout the government. In fact, last month, Senator Cruz warned about the growing backlog of contracts awaiting approval at the Department of Congress.
Then TLN.
He
Spy
warned
still
that
holding. It
NOAA
hasn't done the breakout.
has
I think you need big tech,
5,700
but
contracts set
eyes
to
and bonds
expire
are
this
still
year.
holding.
And it's been reported in the press that you are insisting on personally reviewing every Commerce contract over $100,000?
That is true.
Well, that seems to be something that is not particularly efficient. And
That's
that
a waste of
results
time.
in the 5,700 contracts just in NOAA. So, again, if you can't find reliable support to do those reviews, I think you're wasting your time, frankly.
Fuck
So
you.
I am tasked with the responsibility of my
All of
department.
dude, these guys
contracts
spending
over
money is insane.
$100,000 should be reviewed by the secretary.
can't even believe it
now,
took Elon a
I
month
may
to
have
tell
more
y'all.
energy and more time, and if you drive by the Department of Commerce late at night, you're going to see our lights on because I'm going through it. I do it with my team. I do it with the people who run the bureaus, and I teach them how to
No, it's on this
analyze
channel.
contracts, not
Just
to
look on
push
this channel,
forward
go to the
what
live
was done
videos in the
before. And I'll
morning
give
at
you one
6
quick
a.m.
example.
There's two
They come to
videos.
me with the planes.
This one goes live
Hurricane
at 6:30.
hunters.
The Pledge of
And
Allegiance
they said there were
goes live at 6.
$672 million. I said,
Pacific
wow,
time.
how many planes do we get? We get two. 2 planes? Wow. Can I see the plane, please? Just show me a picture of the plane we're going to. And they show me this picture of a plane. And you remember old planes? They had like mullions in the windscreen. And they show me that, 3 propellers on each side. And I said, my God, when was this plane new? They said, no, you're buying a new plane. I said, no, when was the first one?
Excuse me, Mr. Secretary.
1955.
Excuse me, Mr. Secretary.
These things have
You're
to stop.
talking about a $600 million acquisition. That's
Correct.
a lot more than a $100,000 contract to do something like cleaning in the buildings that
Yeah,
you
silver.
occupy.
I keep seeing
Oh,
gold.
we
climb.
end up,
Gold is
we
tripping.
cancel huge numbers of absurd contracts for software nobody uses. I said, how many people use this software? 0. These are waste,
Excuse me.
these are fraud, or these are abuse, and it's my job
How
to
many
teach my
CEOs?
staff.
How many CEOs of companies, major companies in the United States, are reviewing contracts at the $100,000 level? And if they would, what would the board of directors say to them?
The first year you're there, if you don't do it, you should be fired. You should know everything that's going
This
through.
guy
You
don't
should
know
do it
how
with your
Meta-
staff. You
he
should
don't know
teach
how
your
we bought
staff
Meta
how to
at
do
90,
it,
huh?
and then you should delegate them to do it once you've taught them.
That's
You
exactly
don't
how
do
we
it,
got Meta
you're
at 90
abdicating
because nobody was
responsibility.
watching
That's
the
how
spending.
I view it. That's how I ran my business
Well, let's
privately, and that's how I'm going to
Yeah.
run the government. I'm
well,
responsible for our
let's go ahead and get those 507.
There's, dude, all these old dudes on
5,700
Congress,
contracts done.
Republican
There
and
are
Democrat,
not.
are
This
terrible.
any circumstances.
These guys
Any
How about
all
that?
are
contracts
just
in
fucking
there are none.
cricketers.
You
Just
can get
spending
it done
money.
this weekend. Work
Literally,
overtime
all
with
of
the
them,
gang,
bro.
get it done.
All
There
of
are
them.
no
It's
contracts
disgusting.
waiting for me, and if there were,
That's-
I'll be
all
there
of
all
them
night
just wanna
tonight, making
spend
sure
and
they get
spend
turned
and
out
spend
with my
free
team,
money.
teaching my team how
It's
to do it.
fucking ridiculous.
No budget cuts.
Republican and
I'm
Democrat.
echoing what's been said
There is some.
before.
I think there is
But,
well-mannered
NOAA
people
is a
on
key
both sides,
aspect
and both
of,
sides has
our whole
fucking
society.
grifters, dude.
Farmers
They're
plant
all,
based on NOAA
I
weather.
can't believe it. But
We
then
do
again, I'm not
research
the one
so
working
that we
on it.
understand
You know, I
changing
said this a
oceans, et
fucking
cetera.
month ago. I can't
And
change
this
it.
cut, as described
Like,
by
I could just
Craig
tell you.
McLean, who
It'd be
was
like,
served
hey,
as
that's
NOAA's
not
top
what.
scientist
That's
during the first Trump
interesting.
administration,
But
has
yeah,
said
they're all
in
very.
his quote,
You know,
the proposal to
there's a
slash NOAA
stark
funding by
difference
nearly
between those who
30%
are
would
willing
take
to
us back to
save
1950s
and cut
in
spending,
terms
and
of
then
our
those who are
scientific
like
footing
deep
and the
down,
American
you can
people.
tell they don't want to. They're
and
not
I'm
willing.
echoing
Their
what's said by
livelihoods
many
depend
other
on
people.
it. It's
You're
they
going
don't
to
want to
destroy
let go
NOAA.
of the
Well,
grip.
that's
You know, it's
consistent.
Under
nice,
no
but
circumstances.
it
We
is
have
sad.
2,100 meteorologists, and 120 retired this year, and we hired them back. I was able to have them exempted from the hiring freeze. We care about meteorologists. We care about hydrologists who do the rivers and the ponds. So we are fully
Right, an
staffed
oversight
with
department telling
forecasters
you
and
not to
scientists.
do
Under
oversight.
no circumstances am I going to
I
let
think you're
public
wasting your
safety
time.
or public forecasting
Oh, what would the
touched,
company do?
be touched. But I tell you what we did cut. We did cut programs writing
This is an
children's
oversight
books
committee, and
for
he's like, you're
climate
wasting your
anxiety.
time. Oversight,
Yes,
overseeing.
that was in NOAA. And you agree with me, that's not part of
silver
our
and gold.
mission. Our mission is to forecast. Our mission is to protect. Our mission is to advise. Our mission is to research, not write children's books on climate anxiety.
How much money did you save there?
We saved tens of millions of dollars
On
of
books for
nonsense
children?
out of NOAA. Nonsense out of NOAA.
Noah.
I
Why
want to
does Noah
also
keep getting
associate
brought up
myself
today?
with those comments made by colleagues about the MEP program. We find it to be very effective. And the notion that, oh, we're not going to repeat what we did 10
Hey,
years ago,
bonds
et
are
cetera.
breaking
It's working.
out. It's a mix of Besant, but
In the U.S.,
the
it's been
data is
estimated in
very odd.
FY24 that
They're buying
MEP
up the inflation
secured
data
$5
this time.
billion in new investments and created and retained 108,000 jobs. It's worth the investment. And this notion that, oh, we have new techniques. Yes, we have AI, et cetera. But we have very common things that businessmen look for, like how do I establish my financial relationships with banks? How do I get this new equipment, which is not sophisticated AI, it's machine tools. And how do I do that?
Okay, the
MEP does
Musk
this.
said Monday
Thank you very
he'd
much.
help keep
Thank you, Chairman.
keep GOP. Help
Now
GOP
recognize
keep the
Senator
House.
Kennedy, the senator I
Speaker
was
Johnson
so
comment.
anxious to hear from. We'll see if I was right.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. Thank you, Mr. Secretary, for being here today. Mr. Secretary, I think I'm like most Americans. I
Kennedy.
agree with some of the things that you and the White House have done on tariffs, disagree with others. It's clear to me that the president listens to your
DKS on the
advice
high.
about
Foot Locker
tariffs.
was
So
running too.
I
More
won't
China,
spend
JD.
my precious time trying to understand how you think. If Vietnam, for example, came to you tomorrow and said, okay, Mr. Secretary, you win. We're going to remove all tariffs and all trade barriers. Would the United States please do the same? Would you accept that deal?
Absolutely not. Okay. Absolutely not. That would be the silliest thing we could do.
Why is that?
Vietnam has a $125 billion exports to us and imports from us $12.5 million. And you're thinking, Vietnam exports $125 billion?
I'm aware of the figures, but tell me.
But where do they get it from? They buy $90 billion from China.
The wires they're
then
taking,
they mark
they're
it up and send it to us.
So
you're just a pathway of China to us.
That's how the
you
wires
wouldn't accept that deal.
That's how they're putting that one out there right now.
We're the one with money. We're the one with the store. Of course they want us to take
What's
down.
the purpose of reciprocity then? Is reciprocity not one of your goals? Are you telling the president that we shouldn't seek reciprocity? If that's what you're telling him, why are you trying to do these trade deals?
What do we want? We want to encourage Vietnam to produce products they're great at producing.
But I want to get back to reciprocity. You just said you don't believe in you don't accept reciprocity as a goal. What are you negotiating in these trade deals?
Why would we open our bank account and their bank account when ours is 10 times bigger?
Why are you negotiating trade deals? You're trying to get other countries to lower their tariffs and trade barriers in return for us lowering ours.
That's true for the things that they'll take from us.
That's called reciprocity.
Of course.
So are you or are you not seeking reciprocity in these trade deals?
We are absolutely seeking reciprocity with respect to things that can be reciprocal.
But you just said,
but when they're importing from China and sending it to us,
you just said that if a country came to you and offered you the ultimate reciprocity,
eBay,
no tariffs, no trade barriers, in return for us doing the same, you would reject that.
Of course, because they buy from China and send it to us. Don't you agree with me?
Suppose they said we won't buy from China.
Now we're talking. Now we're talking. If it was Vietnam,
would you accept that deal?
It took 2 minutes.
We would consider it. For what things? For
what
products?
Would you want to change?
Well, there are certain products we want to reshore. We don't want other people making them. We want to make pharmaceuticals here.
We
need to protect ourselves.
Let me ask you this, because I'm going to run out of time. Our trade deficits, are you advising the president that trade deficits are always bad in every situation?
No.
Okay.
E-hang, another
when
little
are trade
China
deficits
one. Small
good?
cap, pop in 1.6.
Trade deficits, for instance, let's say there was a company that had the cure for cancer. Let's call it Cancer Cure. And we were buying it and it was located in another country. We would obviously have a trade deficit with them because they have the only one of it. An example, our technology companies, our great
really
technology companies, we're the only ones with it.
So a trade deficit is okay if they're products we really need.
If they're the only ones with it and we can't do it, then of course it's fine. But if we can do it, then we darn well better think about whether we're supposed to do it and whether we want to do it and if it's in our interest as a country to do it.
Here's what I'm getting at. I've heard you say that trade, well, strike that. I want to go. I'm running out of time. I want to come back to another subject. Tell me your understanding of the Trade Expansion Act.
I don't have a really good understanding of the term. I may know the
drop
act,
an
but I may
899
not know its
question?
title.
You're not familiar with the Trade Expansion Act of 1962 that gives the president almost unlimited authority to impose tariffs so long as you conduct an investigation? You don't know about that?
Oh, my 232s, of course I do.
Okay.
Sorry, I just didn't know the title of the plan, but of course I know.
Why didn't you advise the White House instead of proceeding under other statutes? Why didn't you advise the White House to proceed
Because you couldn't
under
go as
the
high.
Trade Expansion Act?
The president chose
And they're gonna use
IEPA
the
because
fentanyl.
he could do it swiftly and he could do it sweeping in order to address the underlying problems that had created
at
the $1.2
150%.
trillion trade deficit that was haunting the United
Have you
States of
read
America.
the opinion in VOS selections, VUS?
I have.
What role does the major questions doctrine play in that decision?
I am not a lawyer, so I can't speak to it with that kind of precision. That's a litigation that's under current investigation.
Are you familiar with the major questions doctrine?
Not offhand, but I did, of course, read the decision.
Okay, another China small cap,
About
Mulan.
three-quarters of the opinion
You
is
even
on
brought
the
up the NOAA one.
major
But big
questions
cap
doctrine.
China was running, but like
Again,
last 30
I
minutes,
tend to not know the title. I know
several small
the
cap
topic
Chinas are moving
and
out.
the details of it, but I tend not to focus on titles. Sorry.
I'm way over. Thank you for your indulgence, Mr. Chairman.
Senator Kennedy, thank you. Senator Sheehy.
That was great questions.
Thank you,
by,
Mr. Chairman.
by your
and
boy.
Thank you, Mr. Secretary, for being here today. In your exchange with Senator Kennedy, you were talking about Section 232, which is really supposed to be used to help national security, but it is under the jurisdiction of the Commerce Department, as you pointed out, with respect to tariffs. Well, last month I visited a New Hampshire company that makes ball bearings for the aerospace industry, and
that sounds
I
familiar.
agree we should be protecting the aerospace industry in this country. It's our biggest export in New Hampshire, aerospace parts.
Yeah, we've seen MyGen before. So call activity on that. Watch.
They were very concerned about the impact of the steel tariffs on their ability to get ball bearings. They said not only has their cost gone up,
Okay,
but
Apple
the lead
coming down,
time to
NVO
get the
about to
steel
break out,
to make
NVIDIA
the
holding a little
bearings,
better.
they only have one domestic supplier, while they
Celsius
had
now.
suppliers
That's fresh.
in the Indo-Pacific and in Canada. Those have been
4th of
eliminated
July
under
tax
the
bill
tariffs.
deadline will be met, says Johnson.
They said that their lead times have gone from 20 weeks to 2.5 years because of the tariffs. I think this creates a real challenge with respect to our national security. About a good percentage of the work they do is with the Department of Defense. It's in the defense industry. So before expanding these tariffs, did
Germany.
the Commerce Department
Wow,
work with the
EWG on
president
the
to
high.
evaluate the
All right,
impact to
couple
our
of things
national
breaking
security
out
supply
before the market.
chain?
You're still kind of
And
getting held
have
by
you
the mega
coordinated
caps.
with the Defense
But
Department?
yeah, you
This
got a
is an
couple of
issue
names
that I've
advancing
also
still.
raised in the Armed
But
Services
it's all
Committee
still just the morning
with the
levels.
Department of Defense, because they don't seem to be aware of what the impact is on the defense industry of these tariffs.
Of course.
You did consult with the Department of Defense, and
Of course.
and what was the determination about how you address those kinds of extended lead times for companies that are producing equipment that's critical to our national security?
It's really a cost issue, not an access issue.
Well,
It might
not
take a
according
long-
to this company in New Hampshire. It's an access issue for them.
Well, that would be illogical since it's just a tariff, which is monetary. It's not a sanction. It's just a monetary one. It would be
Well,
more
it affects their
expensive.
ability to get the product, though, to get the steel that they need.
No,
yeah,
it changes
well,
the price
Vaughn's
point.
about- yeah,
Meaning,
Mulan
if you're
keeps
trying to buy it
halted,
cheaper, the
Ehang going up,
idea
and then again, all the
for
China
the
names.
administration
Well, they
is
don't
kinda
think,
been doing
let me
that since
just,
the
I'm not
morning.
going to argue with you. I'm just going to tell you what this company in New Hampshire has told me, and that is that their lead times have gone from 20 weeks to 2.5 years. And at that rate, it's hard for me to understand how we can continue to support our defense industry when we don't have the ability to get the supply chain that they need to operate.
The big issue is you can't fight a war without steel and aluminum production in America. You have to be able to make it. If you don't have the ability to make your own steel and aluminum, you can't fight a war. And that is what the president's doing. He's trying to make sure that we make sufficient steel and aluminum to protect our defense industry.
Which I certainly support. I'm sure all of us support.
Sounds like we exactly agree.
But I don't agree on the way it's being done, because we're not going to have the steel that we need immediately to provide the supplies that we need immediately.
Okay, man, gold is going up. So
do a little better planning
gold keeps
before we
if
put in place those kinds of tariffs.
But
I want to go to another
I
issue.
can explain offline how the steel works, but it goes to a spot price. It doesn't change supply, it just changes price. But we'll go over that offline.
Well, let me just say, the company that I've been talking to in New Hampshire understands how it works. And they have a problem. They don't need you to explain it to them. They know because they've been in business for years. But I want to go to the manufacturing extension partnership.
Now. So
because
Mulan's going crazy.
You
I'm
suggested
seeing two
that
different Chinese autos
this is something
moving.
that has not
Whether
kept
they make
up
flying
with
cars
the
or ones with
technology.
wheels. They're going.
In New
Futu,
Hampshire,
another China name.
They're doing additive manufacturing. They're doing AI. They are providing additional technology to help those companies. And so I just want to register my support with what the chair, the ranking member, and others have said about the importance of this program. For every dollar invested in 2023, it returned to $24.60 in new sales growth and $27.50 in new client investment. This is a program that makes a difference for companies in New Hampshire. And at a time when we've seen the third straight month of manufacturing decline in the U.S., it seems to me that we ought to be looking at how we can continue to support those industries and support a program that's been working. So I hope you'll take another look at that.
VOD, Vodafone.
Given the bipartisan support for it, that you'll decide that this is something that it's worth keeping because it's helping American companies. Thank you, Mr. Chairman.
You do know that my Office of the Inspector General cited the MEP as one of the most participating in waste, fraud, and abuse because the leaders of these things were just charging huge salaries for themselves. And one of these offices had like a
ASPI,
90%
there's Neo now.
compensation ratio,
all
and
these
others
China
had 60.
autos.
So the concept is right.
They're going
But
crazy
I,
for
I
them.
want you to let our department fix the waste, fraud, and abuse, and let's get back to its core elements, which I think are fine. So we're not arguing about the core elements, but you need to do it correctly.
Well, if I could just respond, Mr. Chairman, I appreciate that there may be issues and that we should address those, and it would be helpful to have some transparency around that. I can tell you that in New Hampshire, the head of the MEP program is not making an inordinate salary because we watch that carefully in New Hampshire. Thank you.
Thank you.
Senator Fisher.
Nibbits.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. Welcome, Mr. Secretary. Nice to see you. I appreciate the review that you're doing in the department over the programs that you have
That's
there.
Kathy Wood pretending
and
to be a senator.
As you try
She
to
gonna
make
try to pump
taxpayer
NVIDIA
dollars
and supply chain.
be
She gonna be
spent
like,
efficiently.
innovation,
Looking at
disruption,
broadband programs.
Howard.
The broadband funding map continues to be a major priority of mine. The map
like Kathy
tracks
Bark.
all federal dollars being used for broadband deployment, as you know. And the goal
This is like
is
Kathy
to avoid
Foliage.
redundant overbuilding and wasteful
I'm
funding.
gonna go pee and get me a car,
However,
bro, before I can do
we
this,
have
bro.
had
I
issues
did
with
like 20 of these,
agencies
bro.
that do not
I got
collect
20
or
of them. You have
report
no
this
idea.
data
All right, I'll be right back.
consistently, if at all. By law, NTIA has a key role to collect this data from federal agencies in addition to submitting their own program data to the FCC, which houses the maps. Will you commit to prioritizing NTIA's work to support the broadband funding map and ensure that these dollars are optimized?
Sounds smart. Yes.
Thank you. Are there any other areas where you think that NTIA's broadband programs can maximize funding to make sure that they meet the intended purposes?
We are hard at work, rigorously pursuing the details of NTIA to make sure it can be the most efficient and effective along the lines that you were discussing about telecommunications, both access and capacity for growth in America.
You and I have talked about the BEAD program in the past, and I know you have your work cut out for you in reviewing that program, especially with all the red tape that the Biden administration created for that program. Do you have any idea on the timing for revising those BEAD program rules?
Yes, so my expectation is we will put out the notice of funding opportunity, the NOFO, shortly. And then we would expect everyone to apply within 90 days. We're going to hold it hard at 90 days, and then I'm going to hold my department firm that within 90 days, if those applications are done without regard to favoring one technology over the other, just make sure we're giving the benefit of the bargain. What's the cheapest way to get broadband to these people, the most efficient way to do it? If they make that application, we will make all awards by the end of this year. So you had the Biden administration sitting on it for 30 months, right? And you're going to watch us distribute the money and get it out the door, provided the applications are, let's say, technologically agnostic. Just do the right thing for the American people. Let's get the broadband to the people for the most efficient way, and we will put out the money.
I'm excited to see broadband deployment take place to areas that receive no service. We have a number of companies in Nebraska that are able to do that through the Universal Service Fund, through the BEAD program, to be able to get that connectivity out to these very sparsely populated areas. There's a vastness to my state as to others here. To be able to have that happen, the mapping, back to the mapping, is extremely important, but also to recognize, I think, the investment that many of these companies in my state and in other states have made and have been required to make. So I hope you will take that into consideration as you
man,
look
a lot of these
at
small
reaching
caps, like I'm telling you,
these unserved
the APLD,
areas.
it's weird though. It's like because the market's not
Primarily
moving.
unserved areas.
It's been like this for like 3
that
days.
need to be focused on.
But
Will you
people are
commit
running
to,
them again. A lot
to
of China's
working,
small caps,
with
and then
many
any
of
of the
us
ones
here
that had juice
that
from
face,
the other day. They're even fucking
face
MindMed
those
now. Now
obstacles in
Ethereum
order
and
to
crypto.
make those opportunities available to our citizens?
I'd be delighted to work with you, so I understand your concerns and that we focus on them.
Great, thank you. You have many bureaus and you have many programs to cover in making sure that the department uses taxpayer dollars efficiently. And among these are key grants that support Nebraska's development districts. I was pleased to see that they all received their grant approvals this week. That greatly assists our rural communities across the state. As we move forward, can these development districts rely on consistent communication from the department about their economic planning grants?
Ooh, ABL. Short
Communication
report.
should be at
It's
the
a
top
liquid
of our
with
list,
a very
so
low
that sounds
floor,
like an
so be
excellent,
careful. Don't
goal
do any
and
puts.
strategy
It's
for
only
us to try to
$7
reach.
stock, but yeah.
I appreciate the
that
openness
one, I
you've
don't know.
had
Core Weave.
with
Hi.
my office.
He's
I hope
back.
that continues with
Nibis
all
was just
members
going, SPY
of-
working
of
its
the
way up
Senate
again. More
so
juice
that
on
we
small
can
caps.
work
Watch out for your
together.
big
You
cap
have an
leader.
important
See who's
job.
going to be
You
the
cover
one.
many
there's Nibis
areas.
right
You
along
have a
Core
broad
Weave.
jurisdiction, and it's very important that these things get done and happen in a reasonable amount of time. So I thank you, sir. Thank you, Mr. Chairman.
Fisher, thank you. I'm going to follow up, Mr. Secretary, and just make a point to your response to Senator Fisher's question about the BEAD program. We have many small companies in Kansas and across the country. who've
Pepsi
applied
getting
for
some
BEAD
volume.
grants. They've done through their state office.
Yeah.
And I hope they don't have to reapply again, refill out the application that they've spent a lot of time and money preparing and has been filed and approved with the state already. So we certainly need the reforms and changes to the criteria, but there's a very expensive process they've been through once before. So please take a look at how you expect a reapplication. That makes sense?
Yes. Remember, the key point for me is that the American people get the benefit of the bargain, and we're focused on getting rid of the stuff that's not broadband access. So just all that sort of noise and other things. And then literally, as long as the application is technologically agnostic, meaning does it matter if it's fixed wireless or fiber? The answer should
Spotify's
be
nutty,
whatever's the most efficient way to solve that. I want to do that. And
I'm
we will get
looking
the
at
money out the door
Pepsi
by
and
the end of the year.
Staples because I'm noticing
nothing-
them moving.
Nothing you
I'm trying
said
to
do
see
I disagree
premiums,
with.
and then
In
I
fact,
have
I
another
agree with
screen
fully.
with all the China names.
Just trying
They're
to point out
fucking
there's a
going nuts.
bureaucracy that's taken place in the past.
I don't
that
know
do
if I
not
want to take a
you
China play
to
though.
replicate.
I will
But if you
try
feel
to
it's
reduce
early,
it.
if you're
I
feeling
promise
gambly,
that is my
and
objective.
wow, we're
I will
chopping
definitely
around.
try to
People are
reduce it.
going to the cheap
we're
shit.
jo-
They're going to the cheap China. So,
Many
but
Senator
that'll
Murray's
last
executives.
until the party
Thank you
stops.
very much,
So if you want to
Secretary.
play that game, that's
Chairman
all you
Ryan,
do, big dog.
Secretary.
Nice to see you.
Nice to see you. You know, over the last few months, I am deeply concerned because we have seen mass firings at
MCTR,
NOAA
that was the one from
that are
yesterday.
really seriously jeopardizing the weather forecasting that we all count on.
Bank of Canada,
Funds have
Macklin,
been
renewed
frozen,
U.S. trade
grants
deal
and
would allow
contracts
activity
have
to
been
rebound.
abruptly canceled, and agencies
Wayfair now
that were
starting
created by
only 30 highs of
Congress
the
in a
day,
bipartisan
even though
way
it's
have
up
been
2%
shuttered
almost.
unilaterally, really ignoring the law and sweeping thoughtful tariffs that are crunching small businesses and raising costs for our families. And we have seen President Trump illegally block some emergency funding House Republicans included in their year-long CR, which has cut off funding your department counts on for trade fairness, export
heard her, and
controls,
then I wanted to
NOAA
see her.
satellites, and more. So needless to say, I don't think any of this helps advance
said,
the
"Oh,
department's
yeah, let's
mission
see."
to spur economic growth and strengthen America's competitiveness. And it does leave me very seriously concerned about whether the department is going to be able to carry out its
Girl,
job.
you should be concerned
Now, before
if
I
the
turn to my
Incredibles are
questions, I
getting their
do want
outfits or not. What do you
to
mean?
quickly raise your decision
Okay, I'm
to
bad
cancel
today. I'm bad.
$48 million
I'm cracking
in
way
tech
too
hub
much jokes
funding
at
for the
these
American
politicians.
Aerospace
They
Materials
piss me off with their little
Manufacturing
spending
Center
plans.
in Eastern Washington and
And then
Idaho,
everybody ignored me a
alongside
month
several
ago.
other hubs. We've had a chance to talk about this yesterday, but I want you to know I have a lot more questions than I think you answered. This hub is really a partnership of industry, academia, military, governments at all levels. Canceling that funding and further delaying progress at the tech hub really damages our defense industrial base and limits our ability to compete with China, as I told you yesterday. So that is unacceptable, and I look forward to you resolving that as soon as possible.
Okay, we have not canceled anything. And just to let you know, I do have, since we discussed it yesterday, I do have the $220 million. We did draw it down before the date it was due, and we have the funding for the tech hubs. We are going to fund the tech hubs.
Okay,
I
we
have
look
the
forward-
funding, the 220, right? And the additional 280 comes when there's
Okay.
a forward auction. But I have the money. We will fund them. I'm not canceling them. I just need to make sure they do the benefit of the bargain.
I appreciate that,
and
and
they
as
do
I
it
said
correctly.
yesterday, we need an answer that everybody understands is critical. Now, I do want to ask
bonds
you while
come
you're
in
here,
every
one of the
time, bro.
agencies that you
Every time we
oversee
get
is
up here, the
NOAA.
bonds start
It
tweaking
is
out again.
absolutely
So, let's
essential
see,
to
though.
supporting
Again, I don't think the
sustainable
market's
fisheries,
limited to the bond
protecting
action,
our
but
natural
it's a
resources,
very
and
odd
making
one
sure
today.
that we have accurate weather forecasts. Cutting away at NOAA, as you've been doing, and as your budget proposes to do further, is going to do serious harm. Among other cuts, your budget would completely eliminate the Pacific Coastal Salmon Recovery Fund. That would be catastrophic failure. It would abandon our communities, our tribes, our industries who rely on salmon. And across the Pacific Northwest, salmon are not just fish. They are a way of life, and they are foundational to our economy and our culture. So I would like you to explain quickly why you proposed that cut.
Honestly, I'm
And I
kind of
wanna
down with
ask
the
you, did you
salmon
consult
lobby.
with our tribes
They
or
get in their
fishing
licks in.
communities
I haven't
who
heard the big
count on it
salmon
before making
advocate
that
their
decision?
position. So I'll let it
The
slide.
issues are that we do the
ORI.
same thing
Whoa,
in
whoa, whoa,
multiple
this thing's
ways.
tweaking,
you
bro.
know it. We have not cut
It had a
any,
high print then a low print.
hydrologists.
ORI. I don't
which
have
are
any
the people who
headlines. Watch
study
that, though.
But
the
you
water.
you eliminated the Pacific
South
Coastal
Korea,
Salmon
Lee, and
Recovery
Trump may
Fund.
have
That
called
is
as
what I'm
early as
precisely
Thursday. That won't be a
asking you
trade
about.
deal. He
Well,
just
did
got
you
elected,
talk to our
but
tribes
that
or
is
our
good
fishermen
info.
before you did that?
Of course.
Well, I have spoken to the tribes. I've talked to the scientists. I've talked to the fishermen. No one in the Pacific Northwest supports those cuts. And I want everyone to know I will not vote for an appropriations committee or appropriations bill that eliminates that funding. Now, staying on NOAA, facilities like the Northwest Fisheries Science Center, which is in Seattle, are really in dire need of investment. For this reason, This CGS Appropriations Committee has long included language requiring the Secretary of Commerce to include the cost estimates for NOAA construction projects of more than $5 million in the congressional budget justification materials, as well as the 5-year cost estimates for those projects. Are you aware of that requirement?
My understanding is we filed our budget according to the CR with exact precision.
Pepsi's going.
Well,
JD, another set of China names.
Have you submitted the department's
Pepsi, bro. I was looking at that, the volume.
FY26 congressional budget justification? It did not include the list of projects.
My understanding is the CR had certain obligations for us, and we followed them with precision. That's my understanding.
The fact is that you are required by law to submit the NOAA PAC construction list to Congress.
Incredibles lady is just, anyways, we'll come back to it. But Dow Jones, 20 green, 10 in the red. That's relatively the same from the morning. NASDAQ, 70 green, 30 red. That got 10 more names green. And then SPY, 290. You had another like 50 names go green, but then still 213 in the red. So yeah, we're trying to move. Like I'm telling you, every time we get up to the high, the bonds start tripping out. You've had a lot of, again, headlines. We've heard a couple things. China is starting to lead the way, and you've gone back and forth with it all and the data. And then there's one more, and then we even heard Lutnick and reciprocal stuff. So this is why we're listening. This is Lutnick, but
it distributes
nothing crazy, and now we are breaking out.
It helped people get back online after Hurricane Helene washed away computers and phones in western North Carolina. It's a program in rural Alabama where they taught seniors, including some who've never used a computer, how to use the internet. I wanted to ask you, has the Supreme Court declared this bipartisan law unconstitutional?
Starbucks.
It'll go through the courts, and the courts will decide.
No one has declared this unconstitutional. No one. Your job, Mr. Secretary, is to carry out the law that Congress has passed. You don't get to keep laptops from our kids because the president doesn't care about rural communities, kids in rural communities. My advice to you here, it is a law. It is not unconstitutional. And I would urge you to get those digital equity dollars out the door and save everyone the legal fees because the law is very clear.
I hear you.
Okay. I just have a few seconds left, and before I finish, I do want to underscore my state, Washington State, is one of the most trade-dependent states in the nation. 40% of our jobs are connected to international trade. And President Trump and your department continue to pursue this chaotic tariff policy that business in my state stand to lose billions of dollars. I have heard from businesses across my state, from manufacturers, from small retailers. They are struggling to absorb the cost increases on everything from napkins to car parts. And this uncertainty has really left them scrambling, which has delayed investments and caused serious supply chain disruptions,
China's still
especially
ripping,
at our
bro.
ports.
E-Hang again,
Actions,
C-Web, K-Web,
really
JD, they're all
our
going.
relationships with our key allies like Canada. Heard Senator Collins here earlier talking about Maine's being their neighbor. It is our neighbor in Washington State. They are one of our biggest trading partners. And let me be clear, this is causing chaos, disruption, anger, and we have got to get this resolved because farmers, or our people and our small businesses and our communities are really hurting. Thank you, Mr. Chair.
STM
Vice
and
Chairman.
Netflix.
Senator
Damn.
Murkowski.
I've been saying
Thank you,
PayPal
Mr.
too,
Chairman.
man, all day.
Secretary,
Oust.
welcome.
Your little Tesla play.
Glad
That's
to
going up now.
follow
Again, more
the,
small
the
caps.
ranking member
T-Raw,
as
that was the
well
one
as
from
the
yesterday.
chairman of the committee in
AKRO,
talking about
decent
fisheries.
pop.
You know, I'll never
Remember, this was the
disappoint
volume
you.
when I gave y'all
When you come
yesterday.
before
That
the
one did
committee, we're going
shit.
to talk about
Well,
fish,
now
and
it's
I
kinda
appreciate
moving.
what you have shared with
Now
Senator
Nettie's,
Collins
another China
about
name.
the administration's desire to protect our fishermen. We're pleased with the executive order relating to American seafood competitiveness. I had an opportunity just yesterday
LMT
to
now.
visit
Marvel,
with
they were
one
going
of
earlier.
our,
Yin on the
seafood
high, more
industry
China.
leaders in the state of Alaska. I thought we were going to be talking about some of the tax provisions that are included in the reconciliation package, but he basically said, if we can't deal with the trade issues when it comes to Alaska's seafood, we're not even going to need to worry about the
and
tax
IBM
pieces
submit largest
because
ever
the trade
ML
implications
perf
are going to
results
kill
on
us.
NVIDIA
In Alaska,
Grace Blackwell
Russia
super chips.
has declared
Seems
war
like
on
NVIDIA
Alaska
performance,
seafood,
or
and they
is
have
IBM?
been very
Who's the
direct
winner?
and very open about it.
Yeah,
They
I see
are
that. It's coming
using,
on the wire now.
their-
CoreWeave, NVIDIA,
their,
IBM performance update.
dominance in the seafood market to really help fund their war against Ukraine.
Yeah, Bob is going up again now, too.
The effort is one
119.
that
Bob
we are
just
looking
popped up
at
20 cents.
and needing to make sure, I mean, really desperate to make sure that the administration fully understands the implications of what is happening right now. We've got the largest federal fisheries in the nation, about 60% of America's harvest by volume. Seafood processing is 70% of Alaska's manufacturing employment. The Alaska seafood industry generates $6 billion in economic output for the state. It employs 48,000 people in Alaska. Right now, we have Secretary of the Interior and the Secretary of Energy and the Administrator of EPA up in the state, all focused on that aspect of resource. But the other great resource for our state is our fisheries, and they are in peril.
They're front running it now, and then just going to sell it.
I would ask for your commitment to
no matter what the outcome is, but yeah, China's moving very well.
The Alaska seafood industry, those important stakeholders, so that we can talk
again, high ticker running, bonds are dropping at the level, but this time we're actually running to a new high.
Industry right
and then
now.
Again, dude, Baba in the bottom right, we've called out probably like 20 other China names, all moving up while we've been listening to this.
Why don't you organize it? And it would be my pleasure to come and do it together with you. We can all do it together so we can make sure every topic is on the table. And we address it because our trade policy is out to protect our fishermen, which are a key resource of the United States of America. We are on it. We know about it. I know all about the Russian issues. They've been attacking us for years. This is nothing new, sadly. But let's do it together. And this administration is on your side and is
all
on
small
it.
caps,
Excellent. Bro. I look forward to that, and we'll
They're
be
all
working
just buying
with you
the
on
dog
that.
shit.
A couple more issues. There's been a lot of discussion about NOAA and the budget cuts, as well as with the impact on the National Weather Service. We've been working with the Secretary of Transportation, Secretary Duffy, about aviation safety. We're going to make some headway. There's good support within the budget now to do that.
Been doing the whole thing.
But
Mulan, Neo, EHang, these are all China autos.
A connection here with the Department of Commerce in that the automated surface observing systems, the ASOS systems as they are known, which provide for the aviation safety, are managed by the National Weather Service. So right now, we're looking at about a 40% staffing shortage. And I've heard what you've said to other colleagues about, you're not cutting in key areas. I need to make sure that we are looking critically at the National Weather Service staffing in Alaska to make sure that we are not compromising in any way the systems that are vital to transportation, commerce, and safety. We need them to stay operational. So if you can just commit to me that you'll look at that.
Sounds sensible to me.
Another one that works on this safety side, and again, it ties into our extraordinary oil resources. We have to move that oil by ship out of Valdez. It has to go through Prince William Sound,
still lagging
and
a little
they rely on
bonds are like
the
dying, but they've
National
advanced. They're doing
Buoy
very good
Center
today. They
to
shouldn't
manage not only the buoys there in
TTD.
Prince William Sound, but over 1,000 buoys that are operated by
some of these are hitting new highs, and then they barely have moved.
Right now,
so they're just holding the gap up.
A buoy, the Seal Rocks weather buoy that's right outside of Valdez. But the tankers can't leave Valdez
Baba and Baidu
unless
again.
They get the wave height information from the buoy, the weather buoy that's sitting out there, right? This buoy's been out of commission for months, and we're told it's due to funding for operation and maintenance in NOAA's budget.
It's really old.
It
needs
old.
to be replaced.
I
Oh
don't
my
care
God, if
how
I showed you what that looked like, you and I would hold our heads in our hands.
We all look at them, and the problem is it's not just the buoy out there at Seal Rock. It is this system, this constellation that is designed to be the information source, the protectorate for the safety. So let's work on this. But I highlight
Gotta modernize it.
Because we've got some work to do, but it all knits together. So I've highlighted a couple of specific
promise we're in it together. I promise I agree
won't make
with
you go out there if you'll commit to me that we're going to upgrade these systems. But in the meantime, we're going to get them operational so that we're not compromising safety.
Absolutely sensible.
Appreciate it. Thank you, Mr. Chairman.
Senator Coons.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman and Ranking Member. Welcome, Mr. Secretary. I look forward to working with you. You are, I believe, the first Secretary of Commerce to be a patent holder. And I personally am excited to work with you on protecting American innovation and patents. I have 4 different areas I want to touch on. AI chips, patents, the PTO, and IPEC.
Dude, more China
Manufacturing
still.
USA and the MEP.
Been like that for 2 hours.
Let
now
me
Pepsi
briefly
as
in
well.
one sentence say, I agree with comments made by members of both parties that the manufacturing extension partnership is worth improving and saving. And I look forward to working with you on it. I've seen it in the field. I've seen the impact it can have. It could be modernized and focused, absolutely. But in my state, they delivered cyber tools to small manufacturers, and they've delivered state-of-the-art support. 1 down. 2, AI chips. What's your sense of the importance of AI to the 21st century? It's my sense that it's going to redefine our economy, our security, and our place in the world. And what's your sense of where U.S. advanced AI chip manufacturing stands relative to the Chinese right now?
So I agree with you that AI and the AI industrial revolution is our revolution in our lifetime. It is the industrial revolution of our lifetime. America has invented all of the great chips.
And how many chips will we make versus the PRC this year?
Currently, we're making 200,000 wafers, right? And we have demand of 10 million.
Yeah,
now,
that ABL
the
one,
chips
that's
deal
down
that I
16
made
from the
with
short
TSMC,
report.
The Department of Commerce made.
Guess on the
increase
high.
That we'll have 1.2
10-cent
million
pop.
chips, wafers.
And
1.2
Bitcoin.
million wafers. So we'll be at about 12% of
Silver
our
and gold.
demand.
And how
It's
much
woefully
oil,
inefficient.
bro.
How much will the PRC
Yo, something's
make this
happening.
year?
Oil. Eyes.
They say they're making them, and they are not. Okay, they do not have.
Yo, something's going on with oil right now. Airlines are popping, and then oil's going crazy. Eyes on it. There's a deal somewhere.
Look, the FT reports that they're making fewer than 400,000 chips.
Yeah, I
maybe
think
less
probably
than that.
closer to 200,000.
So let's say it's 200,000 of the most advanced chips being made in the PRC, millions in the United States. Let's just agree that this is bipartisan, sustained over 2 administrations, and critical to our future, because we want the most advanced
grab small
frontier
airline
AI
plays
compute to be
just off
in the
cheap
United
oil.
States, the most
Remember
advanced
we were
models
talking about
be in the
oil
United
at those
States,
lows?
and
Saudis
this
want
to
more
drive
supersized
this
OPEC
century
hike. Yeah,
for the United States.
airlines
So
bullish off of
I
that.
agree.
my concern.
I only kept it small, below
is that
$100.
The diffusion
I got a little bit of time.
approach of the previous.
Some of these weeklies have been
administration,
good
AI
on the news
diffusion
plays,
rule,
but if you don't have too
that
much time,
mandated
they
more
fuck
than
you.
half of AI compute be located in America, has been set aside without, to my knowledge, a clear replacement. And I'm concerned about the deal with the UAE and what it means if we provide to the UAE a significant quantity of chips without a clear path for a greater amount of compute to be here in the United States. Could you just tell me how you see this new deal? I'm concerned that we are at risk of dependence.
Get a little bit of
on
time. The
Middle
weeklies are
East
cheap, but that's
compute
2%.
rather than
It
U.S.
could still
compute,
fade.
given
That's
some
why I
of
kept
our
it
real
smaller.
challenges.
But like I was
and
telling
I
you,
don't
that oil
agree
move was
with the
big.
argument
Like
that's
now
been made by
Delta,
others,
Airline,
not
yeah,
by
they're all
you,
running.
that if we don't provide these
travel
chips
plays,
to
they
the
were already
UAE,
up.
the
But
Chinese will.
remember
How do you
a
view
month
that?
ago I was telling
Number
you guys
one, I agree.
on oil, there's
and the
I think it's like
administration
what, below
agrees that
56 or
compute,
something?
more than 50% of
60?
compute
It's one of these
must
prices,
be on our shores.
but the airlines really
in
start
America.
to
So
trigger.
we completely agree.
Exactly. No, I think
the
it's
deal
50,
with the
57,
UAE
58,
said if you
or
buy
even
a
60.
significant number of chips, you will invest in America and build data centers in America for an equal amount of chips. So that investment must be dual there and here. That's required. The AI diffusion rule was very confusing in that, for example, the Prime Minister of Poland hunted me down and said, "What did I ever do to you that you have me as a tier 3?"
Plays are already up.
And I'm part of Europe.
careful.
What are you doing?
Fat
and
spreads.
it was illogical. It was hastily rushed through at the very end of the Biden administration. Our view is we are going to allow our allies
All right,
to
I made it
buy
free.
AI
They
chips
went up like
provided
80.
They're run by an
So I
approved
got a couple left for free now.
American data center operator, and the cloud that
And then
touches that
Baba.
data center is an approved American operator. So we control it while it's over there.
Given the shortness of time, thank you. I look forward to working with you on this. I think it is absolutely
Baba.
critical. You spoke with another senator Senator Shaheen, about the urgency of retaining steel and
Yo, if
aluminum
Wells
for our
Fargo
defense.
comes back, bro,
AI
I
compute
might be
is
down
going to
to
be
double dip.
absolutely central to our defense.
Absolutely.
You made a comment earlier. We want to make pharmaceuticals here in response to, I think it was Senator Kennedy. You're familiar with Manufacturing USA?
Yes.
One of the things I was pleased to see was that it retained level funding.
Yes.
There are institutes around the country. There happens to be one in Delaware. Are you familiar with it? It's the National Institute for Innovation in Manufacturing Biopharmaceuticals.
Yes, it is.
And it is 2-to-1 private sector match for government investment and is on the verge of demonstrating a new way of manufacturing at scale pharmaceuticals in the United States. It is critical
but it's
to
starting
our
to
being
move a little.
competitive. I'd love to talk to you about that in more detail. My last point quickly. I agree that there are too many unexamined patent applications. PTO fee diversion in the past has robbed the Patent and Trademark Office of critically needed resources to hire more and better examiners to reduce the backlog.
I'm not lowering
and
the
to
audio.
improve its
Last time I
speed.
listened
I
to
have
you
a
guys, you
bipartisan
fucked
bill
up
with
my
Senator
sound.
Tillis
So no.
that would permanently
Get over
prevent
it.
fee diversion,
crying.
which increases the backlog. Would you work with me to support that?
I'll be glad to work with you. I think the Patent Office is one of the least understood and most incredible value for the United States of America. I think we undercharge. The fact that we have our amazing judicial system, that you can have access to it for $2,000. $2,000. And the U.S. judicial system should just do whatever you want. Seems extraordinary. Now, we want the price to be low so that the inventor can come in. But over time, I think we should have more money, and I think that's something that we're going to talk about. So I want to make sure we capture the benefit as well as the cost that's coming from the Patent Office.
There is a long-standing but underutilized capacity, the Intellectual Property Enforcement Coordinator,
NIBIS.
that is meant to corral IP enforcement across the
that was up a lot.
administration. I'd also like to talk to you about why I think that should be funded and why we need some function like that, no matter how configured.
I look forward to talking to you about it.
Thank you, Mr. Secretary.
Senator Merkley.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. And I believe the chairman has already raised the issue of the manufacturing extension partnership. Last week, I
on the
met
low
with
and J&J.
about 20 small manufacturers in
J&J
Oregon who
kind
had
of
benefited
flushing,
from this. And
again,
they were telling me their
NIBIS for the core
stories
Reef
of
hype.
how much more they'd been able to increase their efficiency due to the expertise brought to bear through MEP. There are 13 MEP centers signed up to recompete their 10-year cooperative agreements. I don't think that process has been initiated yet. Are you planning to initiate that process soon?
Well, I have to sort of sort it out with, I have the Office of the Inspector General has been really, had a very, very negative report. So we need to clean it up and we need to modernize it. So that's what we're working on. And then we're going to go forward, try to figure out what to do next.
Can you meet with those of us bipartisan fashion that have seen the powerful impacts on supporting American manufacturing by small businesses through MEP to maybe go over the Inspector General's comments and think about how if we need to reform the system, we can reform it, but then we can get this
NIBIS, the
renewal,
option's already
this
jacked
contract.
up.
That sounds like
It's
a
moving.
great idea. I'd be glad to
Again,
do that.
core
That
Reef
sounds
is
great.
insane.
Thank you. I wanted to turn to the CHIPS world. To implement the CHIPS Act, Commerce signed contracts with American chip makers, but you have noted publicly that you are not planning right now to distribute the CHIPS award dollars even to folks who have satisfied the contract conditions. So just to be clear, yes or no, are you currently withholding the funding to chip makers who already had these contracts?
I think the benefit of the bargain, there are numerous contracts that can be made better. For example, the TSMC contract had a $6 billion award for $65 billion of building, and then we were able to modify the award for the same $6 billion of funding, but $165 billion of building. I think commitments of 4% or less are more appropriate than a 10% funding. Just seemed overly generous, and we've been able to renegotiate them. So if the question is, are we renegotiating? Absolutely, for the benefit of the American taxpayer, for sure.
Well, I'll just note that I'm concerned. I'm concerned because the whole goal was to reinvigorate American chip manufacturing. And to some degree, you may be able to strike a better bargain, but at some point it doesn't become a better bargain, and we reduce the acceleration of our re-energizing the chip industry here.
I can't be more confident than if you spend time with us, you will see that all the deals are getting better, and the only deals that are not getting done are deals that should have never been done in the first place. But all the deals are getting better. Micron offered to go from $25 billion in commitments to $60 billion in commitments. I mean, the commitments of building in America are going better. We're just getting more value for the same dollars. So we are planning to distribute money only if we get much more building in America, which we both agree is totally in the interest of America.
Well, I hear your point. I will say that when companies find, when they put a lot of work into striking a deal, that contract then is up for renegotiation down the line, that also kind of discourages folks from being able to rely on the contracts that they've struck. So I'm just registering concern about that, and hope the rest of the deals that were struck, if they can be renegotiated to the favor, I hope they can be done and we can proceed, because I don't want to slow down the work that we invested in a bipartisan fashion to reinvigorate chip making here in the United States.
Sure.
Thank you. I wanted to turn to the tech hubs, and the department has canceled a number of, well, I think quite a few of the tech hubs awards, and maybe it's a similar situation. I think you're planning to recompete them, correct?
Correct.
And in doing so, are you committed to a full and fair process with no discrimination against those who won in the first round?
Of course.
Absolutely, great. I appreciate that. I'll tell you, the microfluidics hub in Oregon, the challenge of cooling chips is such a key part of advanced chip making, as the many more layers are added to try to
Bitcoin's
reach
coming up
the
too.
maximum.
We got gold and silver moving around as well.
That's such an important technology for the future.
And
so
Boeing getting some moves here. And then they're talking chip cooling right now.
Oregon was very excited about the investments they've already put into this strategy. And I think it's very, I know that they were very competitive the first round. I'm sure they'll be very competitive the second round, but I just want to put in a word of how important it is that technology continue to be pursued aggressively.
I look forward to reading it.
Thank you very much.
He's cooling chips in Vitis?
Thank you so much, Mr. Chairman. Mr. Secretary, it's wonderful to have you here today.
Great to see you.
Thrilled to have you in front of this committee. And just to kind of build off of what my colleague just said, obviously, I wanted to highlight the good work that's done by Southern Research and their Birmingham Biotech Hub. Right. The Birmingham-based experts and scientists are national leaders in oncology, precision medicine, population health, and infectious disease, and are well-positioned to make sure that any groundbreaking advancements that are made can be done there. And my only question to you, and I really appreciate your commitment to making sure the process is fair and thoughtful moving forward, is that if there's some senators from both sides of the aisle that would love an opportunity to just sit down with you, and would you just commit to giving us a few minutes of your time to talk about it?
Sounds great.
Excellent.
Happy to commit to it.
Thank you so much. I appreciate it. So I want to highlight a success story of the automotive industry in the great state of Alabama. Auto manufacturing has truly transformed our economy.
Stand up and do a push-up.
It has literally driven us into the 21st century.
It's a good idea.
It started in the late 1990s with our very first OEM right outside of Tuscaloosa, Alabama. And since then, we've added more than 3, along with countless suppliers, 150 Tier 1 and Tier 2 suppliers throughout our great state. So in a little over 25 years, Alabama has become the premier host for the automotive industry. We are also the #1 auto exporting state in the country. Alabama auto exports are sent to 78 different countries.
Says
and actually,
renegotiating
one of our
CHIPS
OEMs
Act
exports
contracts.
more than 2/3 of its
a
product. I wanted to work with you to make sure that Alabama continues to be the premier, and the work that we're doing, I think, is exactly what President Trump wants to see more of: onshoring jobs and providing life-changing changing opportunities for the citizens that I serve. And so I want to know, how are you going to work to replicate the great work that's being done in places like Alabama and other states?
Our objective, especially in auto, is to reshore. I think we have $250 billion of committed reshoring in auto alone. And I know that Alabama, they love, for whatever reason, you've done a great job because they love Alabama.
Excellent.
And I think you're going to be your state's going to be a great beneficiary. As Senator Graham knows, they love South Carolina just the same.
That's right.
So auto is coming back to America, and the president is on it, and he's driving it. And we feel it every day.
10 push-ups?
Right? You
Good
had
for you.
an announcement the other day by General Motors.
I don't
they
know
were
too many
bringing
girls who can knock out 10.
Engine manufacturing.
Can you do a
back
pull-up?
into America.
That's
I mean,
huge.
these are
That's
things
the
we
next
need
level.
to employ our people, and it's coming.
And
so
I know
thank
you considered an export credit. Is that something that's still on the table?
The idea of the export credit comes with a trade deal.
Okay.
If you're a country and you're willing to open Japan, Korea, who export to us, right? If you're not willing to open your market, why are we giving you anything? But if you're going to open your market, now let's talk. And that's exactly the president's view. If you don't want to open it, you can pay a tariff. If you want to open it, then we're here to talk.
Well, we hope to continue to grow the automotive industry in the great state of Alabama, and just want to set the record straight, and I appreciate you saying it as well, but these are jobs that change what is possible for the people in those communities, and they have been able to achieve the American dream as a result of these opportunities, and we want to make sure that they keep coming. So thank you so much. Last month, you launched an investigation into the effects of the U.S. national security of imports of commercial aircraft, jet engines, and their parts. Mobile, Alabama is home to the 4th largest manufacturing location for commercial aviation in the world. Will you consider the production needs of both Airbus and Boeing to meet the extreme commercial backlog that we've seen? I think it's now over 14,000 aircrafts, in order to make sure that we are doing what we need to meet the needs of our country.
Can I say exactly? Yes,
Okay,
exactly
great.
the way you've said it.
This is a lot easier
Exactly.
than I thought. Excellent. Thank you so much. Okay, can you help us understand how the administration might address companies that are actively investing and onshoring today so that they can supply domestic customers with their U.S. operations? And when I'm looking at this, I'm talking about aluminum, and we're looking at kind of the president's tariff policy as it continues to work to rebalance the U.S. economy through the onshoring of manufacturing activities and the fortifying of domestic supply chains. So when you're looking at stuff like aluminum and other things, kind of how are you approaching that from your perspective?
The steel and aluminum industry are huge.
Yeah, work on
to
the
produce
pull-up.
steel and aluminum.
You got to do the
You have
assisted
huge,
ones
the
at
biggest
first, but that's
import.
crazy.
The
Good for
biggest
you.
input is
I can't
power.
believe you do the push-ups
Imagine
like that.
melting that
amazing.
iron ore, that power. And so what happens is the foreign governments subsidize their utilities, and they provide the electricity just too darn cheaply. And so what happens is the Chinese and these foreign governments, they just dump steel on us. They
Yeah,
crush.
TTD, since
We've
that call
had
out, gently
40
going.
steel mills, and now we have 10. And as the president says, you don't make steel, you can't fight a war. So he's protecting that industry, bringing it back. You're going to see more steel and aluminum furnaces and mills in the history of this country be built over the next 3 years. And they're all committed to it, and they're coming.
Yeah, and we're proud to do that in the great state.
Zillow again, that move yesterday.
Thank you.
Senator Peters.
Thank you, Chairman Moran. Secretary Letnick, good to see you here. Thank you for being here today.
Nice to see you.
I know you've talked about this issue a fair amount today, but it's important to me, and I want to bring it up as well. The National Weather Service forecasting offices are absolutely critical to public safety, and I know my colleagues have raised this issue, but I think it's important for me to restate so you just know how important it is for all of us here. The employees in these offices issue weather and flood warnings, as you know, maintain critical observation equipment, protect life and property, and literally for decades, they've always been open 24/7 because weather happens at night too, not just during the day. It happens all the time. However, we have a self-inflicted staffing shortage on the part of your department that has left us with too few employees to ensure round-the-clock operation in a number of locations around the country already.
Even if the employees...
and has also left other
Did y'all
offices,
hear about
such
that
as
one
the
chick
one up in Michigan's Upper
who her
Peninsula
job was
in
to
Marquette,
hit the fucking button?
spread so thin that
and she
they're
didn't even,
concerned that they will not be able to,
but yeah, they brought up
to provide
weather
the
staffing a lot
24/7
today.
coverage. So this is a major concern
Unity's
for us,
going
particularly
up.
in a very rural part of the state. And while I was happy to see Monday's announcement that the National Weather Service has been granted an exemption to President Trump's hiring freeze, you never should have allowed things to get to that point in my mind, but I'm happy that that's
just
happening.
hit VWAP and
Certainly
hit a
it's people's
sell,
lives we're
and now
taking.
look at bonds.
So I'm going to ask you just a yes or no question.
Bonds
so
are
this will be
taking,
really
they're
short,
the ones
and then we
taking the
can get on
day
to
no
another
matter
issue.
what. It's kind of weird.
Will you commit to me that the forecasting office in Marquette, Michigan will not cease?
And then Lutnick,
its
he just
round-the-clock
had a headline
operation?
on airlines. Again, we saw Ryanair.
Yes or no? Would be
we
great.
made the Delta free. Hopefully.
You don't understand
Or
it
no,
yet because
was
no
that
one's
UAL?
explained it to you. These are hard drive computers.
Yeah.
Literally, that no one has seen in 25 years with green screens in these offices. They should be on a cloud.
JP Morgan plans to offer clients financing against crypto ETFs.
Round the clock. The
Oh, wow.
concept that we're talking about, a green screen and a hard drive.
So the answer is no, you're saying?
No, we were going to
All
modernize
right,
it. We were going to
long
staff.
story short, you guys, this China shit's been going on way too long. Obviously, we're waiting to hear about the call. Nothing's confirmed. But this either means that there's a deal in place or they're going to sell this shit no matter what, and this is just cushion. But keep that in mind because as we've been doing nothing here today, a lot of small caps have been moving, and then again, these China names, it's kind of getting ridiculous now. Again, 4% is pretty large for BABA. So eyes on all of that. And then again, we're still listening, couple headlines, but nothing market moving just yet.
Biggest bipartisan achievements, I think, over the past few years was the passage of the BEAD program, which gives funds to individual states to connect every citizen to the fastest, the most reliable internet that's possible. Right now, your department is slowing down these broadband projects and has a 90-day freeze. States are ready to move forward. Michigan's ready to move forward. Broadband providers are standing by. And the summer construction season is already underway, and it's a short season in Michigan, particularly in the northern parts. Unfortunately, you've indicated your department is planning to release new rules that would force states to restart their bidding process and tell states that they can't choose which are the best performing broadband technologies for their individual community. You said that you care about efficiency. I appreciate that. But let's be clear, forcing states to start a process over would waste millions of dollars, add months, potentially years of delays to shovel-ready broadband projects that are ready to go this summer, especially in states like Michigan with a short building season. Millions of Americans, including over 250,000
Again, if you could get
Michigan
big tech,
households,
it'll be great.
are on the brink
Cardinal
of
Health on the
receiving
low.
low-cost,
K-Web
high-speed
still climbing.
internet. And your department, I believe, shouldn't stand in the way of this. So, again, another yes or no question. Do you agree that it would be a huge waste of money and a disservice to Americans who need reliable internet service to restart a bidding and proposal process?
No, the Biden administration had 30 months and they did nothing. We are going to say within the next 90 days, as long as you are technologically agnostic and you agreed to provide the broadband at the cheapest price
MP pop again
per user,
and Ethereum and
then
Bitcoin,
we will get it.
and then gold and
90
silver
days
flip
for
flop
application.
So like you
and
had
out the
gold and
door
all
by
that.
the
Now it looks
end
like
of
Bitcoin.
calendar year
Pinduoduo,
2025.
China again. You guys.
30 months under
I'm
Biden.
telling you, it's hard to ignore
no
now.
Funding.
You got to make up your decision.
100% under Trump administration by the end of 2025.
So yeah, if you guys don't get what I'm saying, like you got to start. It sucks because the small caps are going, and now a lot of these China plays have gone nuts. So it's either you believe there's going to be a deal, and this is the front run, or this is just going to be the cushion. If there's no deal, bad news by Friday, no talk, you're just going to come back down to where we started at the bottom. You see what I'm saying? So yeah, but this is getting sizable, and like we're staying pinned. U.S. stocks are kind of doing their thing, and then there's just this little pocket of the market. China, small cap to mega cap is all going. So I think that's kind of showing you some of the tension building related to what we expect today. No data, but we are expecting trade deals and trade information, stuff like that, and then whatever Lutnick is saying right now.
Has he decided that?
To a point.
Lindsey Graham?
Yeah.
Is this the motherfucker?
All right. Well, that's
You
more.
can't use my bank account if I can use yours.
Is
If
this the
mine
guy who
is
spends
$100,000
$400,000 in
yours.
Ukraine?
That's not fair.
You guys know, like, Like, bro,
logical.
I'm not gonna lie to
reciprocity
you
for
guys.
sure.
I'm balling,
Okay.
okay?
Well, that makes
And,
sense to
like,
me.
But I'd
Whatever
be
you do
like,
to us,
I
we're
have
gonna do to
fun,
you,
and I
we'll
relax,
reach
right?
out,
And I
maybe
do
we'll go
my
to
thing,
zero.
right?
That'd be great. But the idea
These motherfuckers
of
spent
pushing back
400
against
grand in
people
10
who have
days
higher tariffs
at a
than
hotel.
we do makes sense.
Y'all don't
I'm glad you're
understand,
doing it, and that's what you're doing,
Bro,
right?
Of course.
Okay.
Bro,
I'm also glad you're
that's
using
like
tariffs
40
to change
G's a
people's
night.
behavior.
Even if you
Like,
did the
if
whole
you're gonna
month, bro,
flood,
that's still like 10
let your
grand
country
a
be
night.
a dumping ground from fentanyl.
Like how,
Maybe we
bro?
should tariff your stuff.
Like, is he even?
Does that make
and that's not
sense?
even spent on illicit
Well, it
substances.
does, you know, to the world
that's
out
not
there.
Spent on
If you want
hoes.
people to
That's,
change,
you know what I'm
make
saying?
it
That's
in
not
their
even a
interest to
car.
change.
That's not.
Pat them
I'm
on the
just
back
talking
or kick them in the
hotel.
ass. I don't care what works. So
That's
in Mexico, these labs are out in the
fuck
open.
that dude. Fuck all.
They're killing more Americans, 3,000 a week. We're going to do something about it under Trump. And if you don't want to get tariffs, change your behavior.
Well said.
If you manipulate your currency as an unfair trade
Why
practice,
you think he got
you're
such
gonna
a
get
nice
tariffed,
hairline at age
right?
97?
Well said.
If you close
He's living, bro.
like
living
agricultural
on your
markets
dime.
in France, you're going to get tariffed.
Well said.
If you require a business
No,
partner,
for real, the only person who
Chinese
spent
business
money at
partner
hotels like that
to
is
American
Diddy, straight
company
up.
in China, then
I know. I feel you.
then
It's weird.
that's no longer acceptable.
Blew my mind.
It'll just cost money.
Cost money, and they can cheat and steal our stuff.
They do.
So these tariffs have a purpose to make us safer and stronger. And we've been talking about China. We've been talking about getting ripped off. I want to thank you and President Trump for doing something
fuck you.
about
You're
it.
welcome. Fuck yeah, you
Is
better
it fair
say thank
to say
you.
that a lot of people would like to talk to you about new trade deals?
$450,000 later at a hotel. You better
I can tell you the major car
You
companies
are
in
welcome.
Germany came over here and met with the president. Are you aware of that?
I was in the room.
They make BMWs in South Carolina, Volvo. They make Mercedes in Alabama. And they talked to you about making more of the car in America, didn't they?
Oh, they offered almost
said on
$100 billion
Twitter it's
in
fake
investment
news.
in
Well,
America.
I'll verify.
Thank you to those car
I'll
companies.
verify it all, but like I'm saying, like yesterday, last night, bro, in the last like 24, 48 hours, there were so many Republicans who just came out and they're like, oh yeah, I voted for that bill, but I didn't know what was in it. It's ridiculous, bro. And everybody, like, you see what Elon's saying. And again, I told you guys a month ago of how I was like, wow, for, you know, a party that ran on cutting spending, I'm like, that 1.7 trillion is pretty high. So, and it caused it brought up a lot of thoughts to think about when it comes down to like what's going on. But then it's like, dude, they're not voting on the spending cuts. You go look at the grants, like, dude, there's Republicans out there. This ain't just like a Democrat thing, bro. Any motherfucker walking around claiming to help people, claiming to help this country, and they're not, that's a shame on you. And that's what I'm saying. Like, they're not voting on spending cuts. And some people, regardless of Trump and regardless of what you think you voted for, they're just doing whatever the fuck they want still. And it's all just literally crony capitalism fueled by dollar bills. I don't think it's everybody, and I think there is well-mannered people who are making an effort, more so some of the young guys. But then the young guys in Congress, they're not reading. I swear to you, it's crazy. The young congressional senators and the people voting, these young guys who are supposed to be the new blood, they're not reading the fucking bills. Nah, the rhinos like this dude, they're the ones just fucking milking it, getting all the money. You know what I'm saying? But then the new guys and the young guys who like are rising to power and are supposed to be the next generation of politicians, they are legitimately not reading the bills, or they are still tied to sponsors where they can't speak out loud and they're still scared to say, you know what, I can't support that, even if you're not going to support me, because that's not good for people. And unfortunately, just that's it. So that's why I'm talking a lot of shit, because this is, I said this a month ago, and now, 12 months later, everybody hates the bill. But I think you could find a way around it. But the sad reality is just, no one's willing to stop spending money, and that's it. And it's not just politicians' fault. It's all of our faults. We have to do it. CVM, that's big, you guys. 12%. It's a liquid as fuck. But it moved most of that right there. And then SPY, red, Lutnick, no. Tariffs alone will not increase aluminum production. Amazon plans 10 billion North Carolina AI, but SPY, big red. And Apple. I don't see the headline yet. I see Lutnick. Economists raise question about U.S. inflation data. That's the only thing I see right now. And then SPY, big dump. Big dump. Yeah, look at Apple. All right, well, check news. Tariffs alone will not increase. That's all I see. I don't know what just happened. Just a big red, but Apple took a candle. There's a couple of headlines. Somebody, Matt Meenan, and then Wall Street Journal is saying something about economists questioning inflation data. But sadly, you already see it getting eaten up. China names are still up. Other hype names are still moving. That was just sadly a pump fake wick. It looks like it. Be careful. It could develop, but till then, I'm not too worried on that one. Pizza. Yeah, they all did that. Look at even the SPY, but Apple candle, they took a stick. Wheeler, Celsius is going nuts, bro. Yeah, Celsius starting to climb. WWP. Yeah, but he's saying stuff about steel, but I don't think that was it. That was just a big drop.
Into this,
and now you're back up right around VWAP.
The UAE
Dancing Queen
has conducted recently the Falcon Shield exercises with China. They've hailed a, quote, golden era in UAE-China relations. I think it would be helpful, Mr. Secretary, if you could
that moved the low ticker a little bit, but
you
not
haven't
by,
already, and I don't think you have.
Look at the velocity still. It's still kind of chilling. Wheeler's going up, multiple times, and then MDB. Watch if the SPY goes down. There's no real headline on that, so be careful. Just chop city.
Security annexes to Congress before any licenses.
Again, MDB, that's another one.
Can you commit to doing that?
MDB and Wheeler.
I'll just follow whatever the rules of the State Department are.
Bro, Wheeler's
I'd be happy to
up 80?
go
What
over
the hell
with
is
you
this?
privately, but if you want it to be public, I'll just let the State
I remember
Department
this
decide
when
how
it
they
run,
play those
but
things.
I'm not familiar.
That's for them to decide, not me.
Yeah, I think
Baba, Apple, AI rollout in China delayed
allay some
by
concerns,
Trump
and I have some
trade
very
war.
Big concerns about the agreement as I currently understand it.
That's the
but I
headline.
look forward to seeing it. I just want to point out that the Republican-led
remember we talked about that a couple
Chinese
weeks ago, so I think they're giving an update. But Financial
said
Times
last year about a much
That's why you had
smaller
that
deal that was
candle.
contemplated by the previous administration involving UAE, and I'm quoting from that Republican-led select committee, quote, an agreement of this significance must be properly vetted by both Congress and the executive branch. They also called on the National Intelligence Council to provide Congress with an official assessment of the risks posed by the deal between Microsoft and G42.
Line kind of moving
And they went on to say only once the agreement has received
like
this
less than
level of
1%.
scrutiny should the U.S. government allow it to move
The
forward.
Pinduoduo, no, those all the.
Do you think
all
that
of them are
was
dead.
good advice from
They
the
might be if you get a
Republican-led
lucky deal,
select
but
committee?
I would
I
write
don't know
those
what the
off.
topic they were addressing was, but
well,
this was done in the whole of the administration.
Zillow and Tops.
Talking through it, and it's not a legally binding commitment. It's a framework on which to pursue things.
I understand that. I think the concern is that we make sure that we
Tops,
lock
Lineage,
down the
Zillow.
terms, at least that we
There's
understand.
still, whatever
the terms.
Tops.
Or
I think
Congress has
50%
some
just tweaking.
information about
Again,
the
more small
terms,
caps.
As we go forward. That's not unreasonable, is it?
No, as I said, I'd be glad to go over it with you, but if it's that you want me to transmit it, I think the State Department would have to say that's okay, and that's just their prerogative.
Understood. Quick question on the Patent Office.
I got a question why they
And I agree with
hate on
Senator Coon's
me.
comments
Boy,
and
what's up?
yours as well about the importance of the Patent Office.
Long terms up.
I've also been concerned about Doge getting access.
All right, see if we go
to,
down. That lady's headline was Apple and
unpublished
Baba
patent
delay.
applications.
That's
That's
it.
not happening. Is-
So,
I-
but then
no,
again, people have gone back and forth on that headline. We've talked about it a lot here.
No, and I
So
gave a
see,
little
but
laugh.
generally, you're still in the range.
All that.
So
you
you
can wick
can
all the way down
provide
to here, and we'll
100%
still be the
assurance
same
that
day.
Okay,
100%. No.
And then bonds too at the high. Watch those moves.
I appreciate that because that would be obviously of great concern.
LYV.
So look,
30-cent pop.
I look forward to the chance to get together. There are lots of statements you've made over time. I'm not going to take the time today to interrogate you about them all. Although I do want to ask you this one question. I assume after yesterday you're no longer advocating that people buy Tesla stock.
It was on Jesse Waters. He showed arsonists burning cars and attacking a company. Then he showed Tim Walz literally attacking Elon Musk's stock. Yeah. Not the man, not the product, literally his stock. And I just thought, a terrorist attack on a great American stock seem to require a response from me.
Hey, Elon.
That's why
I'm paying attention. I hate Elon.
I think
sell the stock held by all of the S&P Vanguard account. I hate you, Elon. Elon, you hate the bad Elon. Burn the car down.
Suggestions
That's
on stock
okay.
purchases, but I'm going to leave it at that. I'm not going to go through some of these other statements.
Y'all burn down
today.
Teslas for them to cut like $2 off of the deficit. That's
Pass it over
crazy.
to the chairman where I started. I do hope that at least from our experience so far in the first 4 months, when I say ours, I'm speaking at least for the Democrats on the committee, that we can hit the reset button with you and the Department of Commerce. And I would welcome the chance to sit down with you and go over
Kava
all
again.
of
I
these,
haven't looked at restaurants
issues because
since pizza.
we've got a budget to deal with.
Yeah, Kava and pizza at the
we hope
high.
that we can resolve
Yeah, all
it,
of them still doing good,
and
actually.
working
Great.
in good faith with the
Wendy's
chairman.
even,
So,
Chipotle. So
can
again,
we
in the
get
next
together
week
and
or
go
so, you're
over
going to hear a
number
lot
of
from
these
those
issues I've
restaurants.
raised in
You
some
just
of
had
that.
that Apple
Be my
Baba
pleasure.
AI headline still holding up.
I think you've been truthful to that last sentence.
Marvel
It'll
again.
be my pleasure.
Why not?
Mr. Secretary, just a couple of wrap-up things. First, I've been
I'm gonna go pee.
involved in trying to make sure the
I hope y'all
United
did a
States is
push-up, man. You
prepared
already
for
missed it.
foreign
8:30,
visitors to our
8:50.
country, particularly with the FIFA and the soccer tournaments that are approaching quickly.
Huge.
The U.S. Olympics is in Los Angeles. We have great opportunity to showcase our country, and I want to make sure that the Department of Commerce is interested and pursuing opportunities to make sure that the visitors are eligible and able. Those who are eligible to be here are here. We need help with the State Department in regard to visas. Communities need infrastructure support. But I just want to highlight that the tourism and travel industry is something that is important and should be very important to the Secretary of Commerce. And I'd love to hear your thoughts in that regard.
It is. In ITA, we have a group dedicated to tourism. And I mean, this is a wow, right? We've got the club championship, right? The FIFA Club Championship, FIFA World Cup, the Olympics, and our 250th anniversary. I mean, this is, if there's ever a time for America to shine, it's right now. We've got to take out all the stops and make sure we are putting our best foot forward, and I'm happy to work with you. We've got to make sure the Department of Homeland Security and the State Department issue those visas, and we've got to make sure our infrastructure is there and the tourism experience is second to none, and I'm happy to work together with you on that purpose because this is just a great opportunity for America.
Mr. Secretary, Senator Klobuchar and I co-chair the Senate Travel Tourism Caucus. I'm not exactly sure what the name of it is, but this is a highlight for us.
Oh, I testified that I'm not good at names either, right? I know the content.
I know the content.
The title.
I
I'm
know the
not
title
really,
of the caucus. But we need to make certain that we are prepared, and those days are fast approaching, and I look forward to working with you to make sure that's the case. And working with ITA, President Trump appointed a interagency organization to coordinate activities within the administration. I think that's very useful.
Watch
and I
out
hope
here.
that
You're
they're
advancing a
hard at
little
work.
bit. Look, equal weight's about to break out. Tech is
responded
holding you back.
I'm going to see if I can get you
Oil's
to
still
respond
volatile.
to a way that.
But watch, if equal weight breaks out, look at the high ticker.
Senator
You're getting
Peters
that movement.
would not think you're saying no to a question that you might be saying yes to. And that is, he and I've introduced legislation, he's agreed to co-sponsor that would permanently designate the National Weather Service employees, that certain category of employees, as essential and therefore not subject to a hiring freeze.
Nikki T.
They are essential under the law, as I understand it today. If we don't do our job as a Congress and get a appropriation bill done and government shut down, they're still working. They're essential. And my understanding is that you're supportive of that legislation, and I'm trying to have you say that my understanding is correct.
I am, of course, supportive of keeping our meteorologists and our hydrologists protected. But I think it's important that we spend some time that you understand how inefficient we do things, and that if we did it more efficiently, then we may not need so many or be, because we have them sort of put out in the field, they could be centralized. And I just like you to understand that, and we'll work together on that so you understand it, and we'll do that together. But I, of course, am supportive of you.
So Nick Timmerhouse, he just tweeted related to the, remember we were talking about the BLS, and they were like, the jobs numbers might be weird? He tweeted about that. And then there was just a headline about the BLS or something with inflation data, people doubting that. But yeah, he just tweeted this about they pretty much surveyed fewer companies for the CPI, which was interesting. So this is CPI. Remember, they were just talking about weird stuff with the BLS and jobs. So very interesting. But yeah, that's what he just put out. I don't think market moving, but again, there's like a lot of asterisks over the hard data coming out. And then UAE chip pact is what Lutnick just said.
Indicated she's an export state, a trade state. Kansas airplanes, aviation, of course, agriculture, and the concern that we were trying to address, and Ambassador Greer, I think, was very helpful in understanding of the circumstance. But absolutely, we want to have American-built ships transporting our goods around the globe.
First, we have to make some.
We have to make some, and that's the
That'd be
problem.
good.
You've already hit on my point. In the meantime, we can't publish.
That's another food
we can't
name.
punish
And then Baba's
those
climbing back.
agriculture producers and ag
And then Bonds near the
companies
high.
who
Bonds in equal
export
weight
our
near the
ag
high.
products around
Spy
the
is right
globe
at the opening candle.
because they can't yet get an American ship. So cart and horse.
Abercrombie
once
on the
again.
high.
Would you commit to me that you'll be helpful to that cause in making sure that we don't damage agricultural exports while we take the steps necessary to, over hopefully a short period of time, move our country in the direction of manufacturing?
ASMB, all right.
ship-
Low ticker's
ships
picking
in
up.
the-
Just
again.
watch big tech
My
versus
pleasure.
equal
Thank you.
weight.
Mr. Secretary, it's my common practice
And
to
then
give
crypto
the
again.
witness- I hate to do this because I don't. You might actually take advantage of it, which is the opportunity to correct, to set the record straight on something you said, wish you to expand upon. I just want to give you the last 60 seconds to say anything that you'd like to say to make certain we understand a point that you were trying to make.
No, I just want to thank you for the respect, the demeanor,
Ross on the high.
the way
Chipotle
this whole
again, a lot of food names.
hearing was arranged. I appreciate it. I appreciate you both, and I want to say thank you.
Thank you, Mr. Secretary. I do want to join on behalf of all of my colleagues and indicate that this committee, this subcommittee, and the full committee needs information from the Department of Commerce, and particularly by law, the department is required to provide us with FY25 spend plan, which we need and want, and I'm hoping that you'll commit that we will see it soon, and I'll ask you that question. And also, we of course are lacking the
Five
details.
as well. Don't they have earnings?
Of the president's budget, and we're hopeful that is provided to us as quickly as possible. Can you commit to providing us with the spend plan and the budgetary information just as soon as the budget is finalized?
Well, my understanding is we filed that which was required by the CR with precision, but I'm happy to work with your office if there's more information you'd like or need. Let's go over it together and we'll try to sort that out.
Okay. If you'd take the word spend plan back to your staff and ask if they could find where that is and give it to me, that'd be okay. A wonderful outcome.
I hear you.
With that, we're going to conclude the hearing.
All right.
And there's magic words I need to say. With no further questions, senators may submit additional questions for the subcommittee's official hearing record, and we request you, Mr. Secretary, to respond to those additional questions that would be provided in writing within 30 days. The subcommittee, after thanking you for your presence, is adjourned.
Thank you. Wow, that was interesting because I don't know if you guys remember, like, this is very interesting what I'm going to tell you, and I hope you noticed it. Do you not realize that, like, a month ago, every single Lutnick comment, even damn Greer, would move the market? So, yeah, you just had, like, an hour and a half of Lutnick, a bunch of headlines, or stuff it was related to, but then, literally, market barely moved. Again, you're right near the opening candle. You're like right within that wick. Like I said, China, throughout all of that, a couple of specific industries, they were doing it. Bonds are still continuing. We did it. We had data and a lot of other things. We did get to hear some updates. We haven't heard about trade. We heard some positive stuff on EU. We heard about a UAE deal as well and some other stuff getting negotiated. We heard from Mexico and Canada. Not like a deal, just some headlines here and there. But with all of that, we actually stayed pretty stable. And again, there is some leaders here. Big tech isn't doing the worst, but they're not the best. It's getting led by big tech a little, but now, like I was just telling you, the equal weight was trying to go. Actually, look, equal weight was about to break out. Now it's matched up. Equal weight was about to lead the S&P, but yeah, now they look the same. Market makes no sense. TLT signaling recession risk. TLT is not signaling recession risk. TLT is signaling right now uncertainty about government spending. TLT, the bond market, is signaling uncertainty towards policy. That's why gold is up. That's why the dollar and other currencies are reacting in tandem. So I would fall back a little from the recession idea, but bonds are a problem. But like we talked about, you all know what's going to happen. I told you this last night on the watch list, and don't let your memory deceive you, because you have already lived through this. You guys know what's going to happen. That's the problem of listening to the news all the time, and then new ideas, and there's a lot of noise. They'll confuse the fuck out of you. And it's simple, man. We knew from the beginning of the year the bonds are the issue. We're dealing with trade, we're dealing with rates, all of that, right? So what does it mean that high rates makes the market go down? No, because we've been able to climb with it. So like I'm telling you, we're melting up now. Wall Street wanted breakout or breakdown. You're starting to get it. Before you know it, every mother effer going to be talking all-time highs, right? So what's the deal? What's going to happen? You know it damn well. We're going to climb up and melt, and then you're going to get a random freak-out pullback eventually. I don't know when, like a game of musical chairs. You're going to wake up one morning and oh my God, the 10-year rate is so high. Oh my God, bond market. Oh my God, equity. And then they're all going to sell off. Or they're going to do it with policy. You're going to wake up and then a bad China news, and then that's it. So yeah, bonds can keep the market down, but market will climb even as the bonds are dropping. But this is kind of leaving you vulnerable to one of those random freakouts, and then we'll pull back a little, and then you'll reset and keep doing that until there is a structural shift with bonds. We need something to change from spending to economic activity. You need to really see a recession or something to change the bonds, and then we'll get to the next step with that. So till then, you've been here. You know it. You all know it, right? You're looking at it now. You're like, what the fuck? The bonds are terrible. Market's going to climb, and it'll climb however rhyme or reason until one day they're all going to freak out about rates, or they're going to freak out about a trade deal, and then rinse and repeat. You've done this 4 or 5 times to get up here. Literally, we've done this. This is how we got here. So that's why I'm like, man, don't overthink it. Don't let the emotions get the best of you. And this is why, for the long term, I've only made 2 effing moves this whole year, because nothing has really changed. The same thing at the low, at the high. It's all been the same, just extremes. And you just got to make a decision, and make your decision early. That has the most profitability. But if you're now deciding what you regret, this late stage, it starts to play different. I have a lot of in-depth bond videos on the trading fraternity. Both bond videos, like from real-time examples, like TLT 500 into 30,000, all the way down to like why bonds are used and getting money into the system, let alone the economic videos. So I have a whole playlist on even IPE. Bonds come up a little differently, but yeah, there's a lot over the years. I have my yield curve video. I made that one in like 2019. One of my favorite videos, because I do believe that theory. Yeah, so the trading fraternity. But yeah, man, long term is loving it today. We got random areas moving. So like I'm saying, there's a couple things going on. The SPY's not reflecting it, but you got little areas doing their thing right now. So not bad. It's 9 o'clock. We got an hour until philo, 30 minutes till another set of push-ups. Volume's a little bit higher, but then kind of like a little bit higher than average, but not like some of the other days. And then again, more food and TLT, new high. So again, TLT has been able to climb here, and then usually when the market climbs, TLT starts going down. AMD starting to run. volume. It was actually red prior. I didn't know that. Yeah, that's moving. And then BNDX. Remember any names? Find the one from 2018. It's how to predict the stock market crash. But then it sucks though, because like YouTube, I could legitimately give you the title of the video verbatim, and you could type it into the search, and YouTube still won't show it. So I mean, I would go through it, but yeah, it's kind of tough. Thanks for elaborating. Yeah, well, it's a good comment. We talked about it last night, but you know, and I could have been an asshole and said, go watch the watch list, but I really don't want people to get confused by this. And I don't want you guys, because I think you all know, you already know this game. Believe me, don't let the uncertainty talk you out of it. And like I'm saying, you all see the bonds, you see what's going on, but then you're like, why is it going up? It's not a death sentence, but you know, they're going to just play this game because nothing is really happening. Everybody's just recycling and playing the same shit over and over again. So until we get the structural shift, just kind of get used, know the factors, know the bonds. I'm glad you're looking at it, but don't let it frustrate you and don't let it turn to too many plays until there's the real move. Yeah, if you find one, just start looking at them, and then the YouTube algo will put you on. Yeah, because Luck was just on all of them. I saw him comment on the weekend. He found the snaking the chain video and all that. But then again, I don't know. It's YouTube, bro. It used to be I would put keywords in the video and description because you could have just typed in 2-3 words and then the trading fraternity, and then it would show you the video. But now you could put in the literal title and it still won't show it. So, but figure it out. You'll go through it, play around, watch a couple of the OG videos, and I'm sure it'll recommend you one. ARR wives, dude, again, all small caps, man. I'm surprised the Russell's not up though, because remember yesterday it was. All right. Making an organized playlist? Yeah, why not? I mean, you got to do it, but yeah, why not? Yeah, Microsoft chilled out. Remember, that was a leader. Bro, it's the lowest you've been in 2 hours. So besides the little flush off of the data, you are climbing lower with bonds trading inverse perfectly, hitting a new high as we're going lower. If anything, bonds are advancing way more. This is what I was saying. I'm like, dude, bonds are literally advancing. That's the interesting part. And then again, the bad data today was inflationary. Everything else was just jobs. The jobs are the thing that got you the bid because the ADP was that bad. But then now you got to deal with the high service prices. But then again, that even led to advancing bonds. So we'll see, but let's wait till, again, today was primarily supposed to be about trade deals. So let's see how those go. And then I think China is still running it. Yeah, China and Apple kind of look the same right now with Baba holding. LW on the high, fresh set of highs. Then SPY, same goes for TLT. Yeah, Lamb Weston, 0.5% pop there, was just red, small, or low liquidity. You have a friend, analyst, he's getting in bigger institutions. They're buying to avoid the large market tariffs. Yeah, and one theory I've heard from some people, anecdotally, is that everything's still expensive. And I agree with that one. So, like, you know how I'm like, man, I want Target, I want Pepsi, UPS, but they're still expensive. And like, yeah, they're good prices, but they haven't gone lower. So some people are like, well, shit, tariff risk, a lot of stuff is high priced, yields, why not just go to small? They're going for the cheap dog shit and then call it a day. But yeah, it's been oddly, there's been a lot of that activity, but then just as quickly as they turn it on, they'll turn that off. NA, Nano Labs, that one's going. We saw that one earlier. Don't ever delete my videos. I won't do it. I mean, worst case, I'll probably just make them private and then sell them to the people who keep asking me, because like they won't watch it if it's free. You give it to them free, they're like, duh, 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 I hate you. You put a price tag on it, they'll fucking eat it up, and then they'll be like, oh my gosh, Josh, you changed my life. So you should just get a long term and call it a day. But either way, just use it while it's there. That's the best advice I've always given you. From the stream to stream alerts to everything, be in the moment. If you have a tool, you have access to something, use it. Use it while you can. Don't take things for granted and call it a day. That's it. All right, you're going lower. All right, and then bonds, new high. Apple, and surprisingly, BABA hasn't moved. I think Apple has a little bit. Nah, Apple is staying, but the other tech are. I haven't checked Meta. That was the leader, but they're still holding up good. The old one? No, I didn't upload them yet. The ones that we had to delete, I can't still. People will still report it. Again, we got hooked up 2 weeks ago by Sundar, bro. That was crazy, but yeah, those are still off limits. Stream Alerts is closed for now. It has been for about a month or two now. A little longer, I think. Okay, man, you're going down. No real headlines. We got a little back and forth. That was the AI China BABA delay. And you had the drop, you had the pop. But, like, look, BABA and Apple aren't moving. This is just everybody else now losing steam. Restaurant names are still holding pretty well. All right. I closed long-term alerts, too. Yeah. Because I kept that one open, and then motherfuckers started trolling because they were mad about the other one. So I canceled that one too. Again, I mean, it's on the channel. I do it live. I tell you all. I make a video. There's no excuse. I gave it for free. People would kill for that information, and y'all chose to kill me instead. So, yeah, unfortunately, they're all closed for now. If you're on them, you still receive them, but we're not taking any new signups. Okay, dude. It's dropped. The small caps are all still doing their thing, but yeah, man, you're back into the low from the data. ISM service low. That's where you're approaching now. Yeah, even, dude, that was crazy. Equal weight was about to rip it and lead it, and then, nah, equal weight became the victim. Now equal weight got dragged alongside it. I'll keep it real. I've been listening on and off. Oh, let's go. Here's some of the pizza. 17. What do you mean 17? You bought high. Well, thank you, man. But yeah, amen, bro. Like, don't listen for seconds. It's useless. I'm telling you, if you really lock in here, I think it's going to help. But that's at the same time, I can't really like help people who only want to give. Like, it's like, it's your relationship, bro. You know what I'm saying? If you do something every day and you're locked in, you're going to have a real relationship with it, your habit, your frequency, you know, on and off. I've just, you know, we've tried to accommodate it, but I've realized it caused more problems. So I'm glad you're doing good. And again, I think the long term too is going to take all of you exactly where you want to be. So, but I encourage you to get locked in, and you got to do it, baby. That's all you got to do, man. And patience. You know, I think this summer we're going to have to do it. Even this whole year, I've only made a few moves. So let's go, baby. But I appreciate it. And again, be careful of buying high. Again, any of our plays, man, if they run up too much, don't buy them when we're up. Buy them when they're down. Use me as that indicator. It's going to help you out a ton. I know, isn't it fun? You never know when you're going to strike gold in here, but it happens. That's why it's exciting. Like literally, bro. You never know, bro. Every day. And then even then, we're not here just to pan for gold, because we have a guaranteed win for the long term as long as we stay consistent. So, amen, bro. Amen. Woo! Why do you say Target is expensive? Because it's gone through very big sales, bad news, high inventory. I still like it, but it's refusing to go below the high of 2019, for crying out loud. It went a little bit below. It was just there, but, you know, with everything going on, I mean, it already hit 103s before. So, like, there's these names staying pinned. Pepsi, UPS, Target, and even Pfizer. So it's like all of these could go lower and go higher, but that's why it's like you're gonna have to wait. It's like you could buy this like weird middle pin, but what happens if it does go a lot lower, or if it does bounce? And that's where it's like I think you're gonna need some patience, and that's why some people, what's the point of getting involved in that? And then they're just chasing the crap and then flipping that, and until we get some answers here. Meanwhile, I'm just holding cash for the long term and waiting, but yeah, that's kind of the idea, especially too if you're in the lead. We don't want to give it up. Let's be wise with it. Let's be smart. If you don't need it, you don't need it. You know, we need cash right now. And then if it's a good value, like again, my plan was to hold cash this year, and I stuck to it. But then eventually they pried it out of my hand. If you don't give me 30-40% off, we'll take it. But until there's like real movement in prices, it's going to be a waiting game, and we'll see who's the best at it. Crowd has received requests from DFJ. Whoa. Yeah, Crowd is down $3, but they had bad info or bad news. It's not the craziest drop, but yeah, they're starting to come down now. Crowd getting investigated by the government. All right, now it's down $7. That one's picking up. Did I get those? Yeah. All right, get a little bit of time. But it could be a dud. That's just big, though. There are some cheap ones. Let's see. There's DFJ and SEC. Yeah, the beds are weird, and they're jacking them up. I say if this really flushes, those will hit, but if not, you're gonna lose. So keep it small. Keep it small. I went for those. They're like $20 or something. Yeah, they're already going even crazy. Jeez. Ay ay ay. Let me see. All right. You don't see it on TV yet? Yeah. It might be a dud. And remember, they just had earnings. That's why I'm saying just keep it small. People are tweaking around, but even the way the option chain's moving, they don't know yet. That's why they're just widening the spreads. It gave it the first pop, but there's going to be more to it. And that either means it runs like down or it's going to be absolutely nothing. You never like to listen to one person. Well, you got to figure that out, because a lot of the noise has fucked a lot of people up over the years. That's what I've noticed. And most of the people who have told me that, they've came to me back after 5 years more confused. And that's what sucks, because I'm having to unwind a lot of dog shit that other people taught them. So I feel you, and you want to have a lot of opinions and ideas, but you have to have a barrier, because all noise it's not going to be good, you know? And at many advisors is how plans don't fail, but like I'm saying, logically it makes a lot of sense to have all these different voices, right? And I agree, but the efficacy in what I've witnessed, that's not what happened. Again, I even played that game. I even tried. That's what I'm saying. I tried to get involved with people on it, and it was terrible. So just be careful, lock in, have your goal, have your plan in motion, but at the same time, I would protect your mind and lock in and focus. All right, the bids are coming up on crowd. Nothing yet. Tell me when it hits TV. Oh, I see it on another wire right now, flashing. Okay. It's funny because I have a philo today. It kind of relates to it, but it's not just about that though. It's more important than that. Be careful with too many chefs in the kitchen. Ooh, I've never heard that one. I like that one. I see you, big dog. Too many cooks in the kitchen. I like that a lot. Oh, God bless you. I've never heard that. No. Isn't that funny? I tell you guys like quotes like that, and you'll be like, I've never heard that. I'm like, how? And then y'all will tell me one. I'm like, I've never heard that. Wow. Crowd disclosed 10K related to July 19th. Are they saying it was previously disclosed, or are they disclosing it now? I'm checking. But follow up. I don't see a 10K yet, so it could have been old. Oh, SEC. Yeah, I got the SEC request too. It was DFJ and SEC. All right, you got 30% on the bid. It won't fill 100%, but you just need the next candle, but it's up to you. Big dog. All right, I made mine free. I'm not trusting it. I took the bid. It's 30%. So that one, I only got I got 2 of them for free. Not bad, but still. So I'm making it free. I like it though. I think it could hit, but it's too slow now. There's been 5 minutes of just holding. Expected to renew approval of Nippon. Yeah, we heard that the other day. SPY coming down again. Hut on the high. And then Microsoft. All right, so C. BTM. Too many chef. Why are you guys bringing Indians into this? I already banned the other fool for that. So if y'all, I'm assuming you guys are just racist pricks. So I'm sure you're not fully a racist prick, but you just had a moment. So yeah, I don't know why you guys are saying that. Unacceptable. Yeah, why do you guys keep saying that? I'm very confused. I think why that sounds terrible. Why do you guys keep saying that? I don't like that. You know, I love my Indians, bro. What's wrong with y'all? CNBC talking that now, but just earnings.
Why does it have to be anything wrong with the report?
Yeah,
Maybe the report was
not
just
chefs.
fine. But I mean, if the
said that.
valuation, yeah, but the stocks just don't go up into the sky forever.
Of course they don't. And,
Yeah, yeah,
and that's
yeah. No,
why I'm
you
saying
guys
this
are
is
miss-
healthy. Because a lot of
That's what
times
I'm
when
saying. It
positioning
sounds
is full,
weird 'cause you were
have
misinterpreting. You guys
hands
said
that are
chiefs?
involved in a
you were
particular
saying
equity
chefs.
name that are not comfortable maintaining positions, and you
Y'all
need
just
to
mixed
kind of
two
work
quotes,
that
and
off.
now you came
Positioning
out
is so
looking like you
critically
hate
important.
Indians.
I'm not saying that
That's
this
why
was
I was
a
like, what's
fine
wrong with you?
report. It was okay. It needed to meet and go beyond the wildest expectations.
Too many
to go
chefs
even further
in the
higher,
kitchen,
which
not
seems healthy.
chiefs.
All right, coming up next, after this quick break, we're going to trade committee stocks that have been on a hot streak. Well, I mean, for the most part, there are some losing streaks that we need to get to as well. We're back after this.
All right, well, that was nothing on crowd. I'm glad. I still got some other ones. They're still holding. They're up. I already made it free. Yeah, too many chiefs, not enough Indians. But if you say too many chefs, not enough Indians, that's racist. So yeah, okay, I'm glad we have clarity. But some of you got timed out for that. So that's unfortunate. But I hope you see where I'm coming from. That's... My goodness. And it's 9:30. Get up and do a push-up. It's 9:26. So still, you can do it. All right, well, SPY literally all day bonds, bro. And remember, if you guys weren't waking up early today, the ADP private payrolls got murdered. And that's why we are here right now. All right, First Solar going up. Couple more small caps. First Solar kind of really ripping. Yeah, just popped up like $1 in 3 minutes. Too many Chads, not enough push-ups. Oh, yeah. There it is. Amen. Yeah, man, get some push-ups in. Woo! SLR. Hot. Too many Chads, not enough long terms. Amen. Amen. Are you gonna get a long term or what? Are you guys gonna get a crib? Dude, it's so funny, man. Everybody is tripping. And dude, the boomer hate. The boomer hate in real estate is hilarious. But then I'm like, dude, it's the millennials. I really believe the millennials are the problems for everything. You know that? Because it's the millennials who are taking over the media. It's the millennials who succumb to their rich bosses because they wanted to be a rich boss. It's the millennials who ignored buying a house and then just bought one in the last few years and are like, yeah, I'm going to list it after a year and make 30%. And then they have the audacity to blame the boomers. So, like I said, bro, I'm not a boomer. I just got the hairline. I'm not Gen Z. I'm like I'm the weird middle child. Okay? But like, yeah, bro. It's, again, I'm seeing these people go crazy on Twitter, roasting and just going in on the boomers because of real estate. And I'm like just posting real deals, bro. Like literally, I'm just posting the deals and I'm like, bro, all of these houses are people who bought 2 years ago. They aren't the people who bought for 80K. You know what I'm saying? Like literally, it was the people who bought in 2022 and 2023 and they're like, yeah, fuck it. And then they're trying to sell their house and they thought they were going to make 200 grand, 100 grand. And no. And those are the houses sitting on the market. They're refusing to budge. and now a lot of them are underwater. XOP is oil, I'm assuming. And again, you had the OPEC stuff, yeah. So that's why they had said OPEC thing. You got German defense stuff of a Iris air defense system was destroyed by Russia. Oh, well, that should make oil go up. But yeah, other stuff though. OPEC said they were going to raise the increases and all that today. And then yeah, we're filling the gap now. You did that earlier. Everything's gone negative except NASDAQ, equal weight, and then you're back into the low from the data with the bonds up. But yeah, man, this is the problem. Listen, it's not, you don't blame the millennials, you don't blame the boomers. Okay, you guys, the reality is that real estate got really weird and now it's normalizing. And I just think there was a lot of people who just don't understand how real estate really works. And not just like you live in it and buy it. I just mean that the pandemic distorted a lot of the real estate market, and your average American home buyer does not know how it works. And why? Because the last 5 years was a very abnormal real estate market, and that made people believe different things. So let me put it this way, bro. I remember very vividly a real estate market where rates were very low and houses would still spend 60 days on the market and prices were not collapsing, but they were not going up. Have you lived through that? Do you remember that? That was real, bro. Like, you get what I'm saying? Like, there was a time where interest rates were near zero. Mortgages were cheap. And the houses would still sit for 60 days. And you just had to wait and wait. And it wasn't like dropping the prices. It's not like real estate was crashing. But it wasn't, you weren't buying a house and making $100,000 in a year. It was very different. No, this was before COVID. That's what I'm trying to tell you, is that the most of the history of real estate, it's a illiquid, slow asset. And a lot of these people after COVID, they think real estate, 20 days on the market, 10 days, boom, bidding war, boom, boom. You buy it the 1 year, you sell it next year, 10%, 20%, boom, 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 boom. They think it's really quick. Or now, and then people are panicky because now they're like, what do you mean I have to wait 60 days to sell it? wait, what do you mean? What do you mean nobody wants to buy it for $200,000 higher than last year? So, yeah, we're normalizing. That's the reality. And that's why, like, the aggressive people, the people been in for a while, and then the new guys, everybody has to normalize. You know, you gotta get back to a normal supply and demand. We need rates. That's the thing, though. I'll tell you, right when rates go down, people will start buying. That supply will come down. But until then, though, it's still gonna be. We're going back to normal, where you could have long days on the market. You could have low interest rates. Prices won't collapse, but then the houses just aren't going to sell. That's it. People are buying, but not as much. That's what I'm trying to tell everybody. There is so many people ignorant to a real estate market where houses sit for 40 to 60 days and it doesn't collapse. That's the point. It's turning into what it used to be. Even with low rates, it's just a very, very slow market. It's a liquid. It takes a long time. And now that crazy demand and money is no longer there, it's going to be very sticky. And eventually, if the jobs go down, then the prices will collapse. But as long as the jobs aren't dropping and we're in this, just get used to this. I mean, unless you live in New Jersey. That's the only people right now who they'll disagree. But let me show you guys the data. Remember what I was telling you yesterday. Homeboy's like, I'm buying a house, and I was telling you all. I said, listen, man, you're in Florida, you're in Austin, Atlanta, you're in any of these areas that went crazy. You better be very careful because those houses are sitting right now. So, and they sell below ask. I would not be top ticking houses that are in a buyer's market. So let me see if I can find it. Where is it? More real estate. Oh, was it on Twitter? Because I was looking at the data today, bro. Oh, yeah, here it is. I was tripping. But then it's everything I've been telling you for a while. So it's all from Redfin. You could go and get it, but... And this is all from April, so it's like a month or so delayed. But, like, this is what I was trying to tell some of you in some of these areas. But, like, look, it's insanity. So days on the market, the median in Florida down to Miami is 81 days. Again, the prices have barely gone down, but 81 days. U.S. tells Israel it'll veto Security Council resolution. So look, 1, 2, 3, 4. 4 of the top 10 are all in Florida. Then 2 of them are Texas. New York is kind of surprising, but it's always there. Tennessee, that was hot. Phoenix was hot. Pittsburgh was hot. All of them. So even the national average is going up. And now these are the places where everybody went ape shit. And now it's not the boomers. It's the people who bought 2 years ago trying to get out. And now they bought really high. And they're like, wait a minute. I don't want to sell lower. I'm supposed to get rich off of this. And now you're playing this game. So that's one of them. But now look at the other. So the same similar data, but now this is the ones that are selling below list. So like I'm saying, it's not like you don't buy in these areas if you need to. But look, if you're top ticking in Florida, you're batshit insane. Even in Texas. Why would you be? They're selling 4 or 5% below market, bro. That's 25, 50 grand, depending on what price point we're talking about all day. And that's there could even be way steeper discounts. But that's what I was telling y'all. Just be careful on some of those. And then this was the Twitter. This was just one of many. I posted one the other day. Florida. Look. Homeboy bought in 2025. In 2022. April. For $550. He sold it for $391. Yeah. Again, and that's why I said with the boomer hate, because somebody was on mine yesterday, and I was like, bro, this was the deal I showed you guys yesterday. Like this, I got yelled at by this guy because he bought at $750 and got mad if I was like, yo, can we talk at 600s? Let's see. And seller financing, he got mad. So yeah, but that's why just be careful. I'm a buyer of real estate still, but you just got to shop effectively. Be savvy. You know, don't just like the stock market, don't be impatient. If you're impatient, you're going to get a bad real estate deal. If you're patient, you're going to get a really good one. If they flip homes, you hope they lose money. It's immoral. You're probably, I don't know why you're in the stock market, sir. What are you saying? You're literally flipping shares of most companies that employ children in other countries and then take their profits to literally destabilize all of your social structure. So yeah, that's a weird way to look at it, hater. But yeah, I'm showing you guys to keep you safe, you know, not to be hateful or get mad. And that's why I want you guys to get into real estate. But that's why I'm very worried for some people where I've been telling them and then they're emailing me and then it's the most expensive fucking house. And I'm like, don't do that, you guys. And then again, if you're like, oh, I'm getting it, Josh, in Florida. And I'm like, I have not talked to you in a long time. Just be careful, bro. Because don't come back and be like, you told me to buy a house. I did not tell you to buy that one. So just be cautious. Florida, Texas, Atlanta, all these. I've been saying this for months. I'm on the ground floor of all of this shit because this is what I do. And that's why I'm like, bro, just be careful. It's turning to that buyer's market. You could find deals, but if you're impatient and you fall for the high list prices, then yeah, that's not good. So be careful. Housing is always crazy, but I'm probably not going to talk to you, Mr. Unethical Man. You lost me on that comment. I don't think I'll be able to connect to you. If all you took out of that was, I hope they lose money. No, I'm trying to teach other investors to be wise. And I want you all to be owners, and you shouldn't be shamed by being an owner. And obviously, if you take risk, you'll get punished if you do it improperly. But yeah, so let's part ways. Call it a day. You $8,500 on property taxes? That's a lot. Yeah, NJ is because inventory. That's it. A lot of people are selling those houses with the areas that have inventory up, and they're just going back to Cali, New York, and Jersey. But then all depends on the area. But yeah, Jersey inventory is hella tight. So that's why, remember what I told you guys the other day. Last thing I want from any of you in real estate is to be paying seller market prices when it's shifting to the buyer's market. You get what I'm saying? That's because I don't want you to be, you waited so long only to still pay high. Like, use this opportunity to your advantage. Yeah, a lot of things are pumping right now. Trump just spoke with Putin. Trump is talking somewhere. I got headlines. Trump said he just spoke with Putin. That's coming out now. So check oil and anything else. Oh shit, it's already 9:40. All right. No, I look at too bad. I don't care about that. I care about square footage though. Just don't be buying the little shit boxes that are like below 900 square feet. That's the trap too. Is that you'll find a property in like a good area, and then I don't care about the bedroom dynamic, even though that does affect value. It's more so just don't overpay for the small one, because you need the square footage to comp it. Putin will participate with discussions with Iran. That's all coming out now. He's talking somewhere. Iran's slow walking decision on nuclear deal. Yeah, I like duplexes. They're great. Putin conversation was good, but will not immediately lead to peace. Yeah, nothing. You're not going to get anything out of that. So it's good to hear, but he just said he's not even giving you a carrot. Putin said he'd respond to Ukrainian attack. That's not good. Because remember, that attack was huge last week, bro. And we haven't heard anything on it yet. Yeah. So he just said that. So watch, people might not like that. But then again, nothing has really moved on that type of news from the weekend. No one really, people were worried, but no one really reacted. How do you kick out your tenant in Los Angeles? My brother, you don't kick tenants out in Los Angeles. They kick you out. What are you talking about? This guy, he said, how do I kick him out in a liberal state under rent control? That's genuinely funny. No, man, you're fucked. You either, because be careful too, because if you do it the wrong way, you will get sued. I'm telling you, if they're chill and you like them, yeah, you could work out some type of deal, but generally that property is going to be low rent until they leave, and then you'll have a lot of upside, but they have to leave naturally. You cannot influence them at all. You can get in big trouble. And then, yeah, I would just, they report everything. Yeah, don't, honestly, your best bet is if your best bet is hoping that they are a hateful person, and then finding a tenant that they hate and putting them right next door. That's your best bet. But even then, if you did it on purpose and they could prove it, you'll lose your property. So yeah, either way, like I said, you don't kick tenants out, they kick you out. So otherwise, I would just eat it and call it a day, or maybe upgrade the rest of the units and keep her in that one, and then hopefully you could bring a better property about. AMD again. Yeah, and then SPY. Yeah, New York is the same. But rent too low, they stay in. Yeah. That's it. You could talk to a lawyer and find a way to put like a legal offer for cash for keys. Make sure you're fully compliant, and it's still going to be risky. That would be your best bet. But even then, it's still like, it's annoying. Yeah, Trump, I think I might have just read it. I don't know if he was speaking or truth, but we have headlines on Iran, and he said he spoke with Putin. And that Putin said he was going to attack in response to Ukraine. All right, well, you're going up. Rent control, you can't. So in California, even New York, the way rent control works is that there's a cap on the rent. And as long as the person is in that property, the same renter, you cannot raise it. So if they leave, you could then, it's still a rent control property. But if they leave, the rent control cap goes to the new rent. So if that person was renting for $500 a month and doesn't leave, they get $500 a month until they leave. You are not legally allowed to raise it. But then if the going rates are $3,500, let's say, and then that lady leaves or passes away, then the new tenant comes in, you could rent it to them at $3,500. And then now the new rent control cap is $3,500 based on the new one. No, there's no length of as long as they occupy the property under the rent control, they are able to take advantage of it. But once they leave, the price could be raised to the level. So the level goes up based on vacancy. And then, but if it's not vacant, you can't raise it. That's why. So what happens with these properties, you'll find these deals always. People, like, you could find like a $5 million house or multi-unit in LA worth $5 million, but it's rent control, and they'll sell it for $2 million because the rents are bringing in dog shit. So even though it's in a great area, it could be in West Hollywood. It could even, like West Hollywood on the cusp of Beverly Hills, there's a lot of rent control, believe it or not. And those are the ones. It'll be $5-10 million property, only worth $2 million because the income is nothing. And then the only way you could raise the income, if you raise the income and got those tenants out, those properties would be insanity. You could 10x your cash flow, but those people will never leave. And then they have the literal full backing of the California government behind them to keep, 90% off rates. So yeah, it's good and bad, but then the problem is that it helps stop the gentrification, helps keep, it helps communities who need it. But then the problem that most people don't realize is that after 5, 10, 15 years, it just makes sure that these areas will never go down in rent now. Because then all the other rent controls that raise the cap, none of those guys are going to let go, and now the caps get raised, and then boom, you just guaranteed high rent forever. Just cause and landlord moves in temporary, it's very, very difficult in California, especially LA. And then if you fuck up, the penalties are very steep. So if you do it the wrong way and you try to pull that shit and they sue you, you could get fined heavily. And like I'm saying, the taxes, you could get taxed, you could get fined. That person will live in there and you'll still have to pay the property tax, everything. So just unfortunately, you got to do that due diligence before you buy the property. And then afterwards, though, you just got to move very cautiously. Yeah, follow the law, and then also too, just make sure you got to know what you're buying. Know the law, like about it, because know when it's more in your favor or against you. Because like I'm telling you, in LA, it's really bad. Because I think like even then, if you even try to raise rent higher than CPI, you get fined $20,000. And then if you do it more than twice, I forgot, it's like a crazy punishment. And like I'm saying, bro, you could lose your property if you don't do it the right way. So yeah, it's not it's just the areas, sadly. Need definitive answer from Iran soon. Yeah, Trump Truth Social. Well, that's the sad reality. It's not the normal landlords, like the people who are not corporations, they get screwed. But like I told you, bro, all of this Southern California shit, it's really biased towards the people building hundreds of units. It's all big money, bro, and way bigger than me. I get left out because I'm not building 50 units at a time. What are you saying? Like, it's all just cronies. Hey, I'm Dizzle, bro. I got that in the bottom right. You got a nice little bounce there. And then, Chad, we have 10 minutes until Philo. So we haven't heard much about trade. Unfortunately, today might be one of those days. On Monday, it wasn't. But a lot of you have already became members by now. Some of you are still holding out. No problem. But unfortunately, I'm still doing my thing, baby. So if you would like to join, you're going to need a membership. But in 10 minutes, we will be going to members only. So that will be the link to that video, and I will see you there in 10 minutes. Ta-da! Let's go, Philo. Amen, bro. Amen. I got a good one for you. But yeah, don't sign up if you don't want to hear me talk about life. But I don't know. I might be able to encourage you. And I do hope you all do get encouraged. And at the same time, when I go private, man, stop being a crackhead over, oh my God, long term, bro. Our long terms are killing it. You realize that? Like, absolutely wrecking by just, and you don't have to listen to everything. All you got to do, bro, is just save and little by little and ride the wave. Oh, and they blessing you too. And if someone blesses you with it, man, that's, I have my attitude. The Chad giving you the window, but I hope you use it, man. Use it wisely. But yeah, just get a long term, bro. What are we talking about? This is technically the small account. Get a long term, baby. Let's go, Tyree. Amen. Christine, welcome. The long term is my slang. You buying Mag 7, but I bought it when it's Fang. That's a bar, bro. You don't really got the juice. I don't even think they tang. Oh, man. Oh, Cameron. Wow, how do I say that? Shakaya? I'm going to say Miss Bolden, but I think Shakaya, right? That's a beautiful name. Hello. I probably butchered it. IMOU. What up, baby? No news on DocuSign, but I could check. Up one. I mean, I know they've been in that buyout window or like an acquisition target, but I don't know anything. I'm checking now, brother. Please hold while I connect your news. Evening, Docu, tickers mentioned. Jolts. DocuSign earnings, that's it. They have earnings on June 5th after the close, tomorrow. That's it. So this is all getting ready for their earnings. They're pricing, they've moved 22 on the quarter, pricing in 10. So yeah. Oh, thank you, man. First super. Woo! Market green. It's crazy. It was really green in the morning, then the data brought you down, and then it went back up. This Trav. Let's go, baby. Welcome. Well, shout out all the new members, man. I'm glad. I hope you get unlocked to Philo, because I'm telling you, man, some of the new guys lately, they're tripping on Philo. You know that? Because now they're like, wow, I get Philo, and they love it. So I'm glad, bro. And I really hope, but I want encouragement. I want no fear. You know what I'm saying? Above all else, I hope y'all and then take advantage of the future. Think about your future. But yeah, don't let me get too hyped. Pizza. Dude, all of them are going nuts, man. It's at 48. That's crazy. We're up over 50% since we acquired it on the long term. Like literally over, it's like 52 right now, I think, or 54. Qubits, that's waking up. That wasn't earlier. Yeah. Moving. Better Philo, better Chad. Papa fraternity? No? Okay, I don't. I tried, man. I tried. Tell me why this doesn't make you happy, right? Slow move up. Easy, bro. 47 talking to a 29-year-old for 2 months. The fam is hating on me for the... What, you need a philo for me to justify the age gap? You don't need a philo for that, bro. You just got to figure that out on your own. He's like, I need the Lord to take... Because the Bible is... you don't know, honestly. The Bible is going not... It's going to tell you other things, but it's going to tell you... You know, do you know David? And never mind. But yeah, either way. Does she love the Lord? How about that? You're telling me about the long term. He said, Lord. He said, Josh, can you bless my age gap? Unfortunately, I can't. I cannot. But you got that's between you and you, brother. Okay? She does? Well, that's it, man. Honestly, I think you should listen or go reread Screw Tape Letters. For real. Because at the end of the day, I think a good partner in life, bro, is one of the best things you could ever ask for. It literally, Proverbs tells you it's a crown. That's a very good gift from the Lord, having a good partner. All right? But then at the same time, you could do everything right in life, and if the devil or the world can't get to you, and you could be immune to everything except the person in your bedroom. So don't underestimate that. This decision will have the ability to propel you or waste another 5 to 10 years of your life. That is the reality of it. So read Screw Tape Letters. Read the part that we went over on philo before. I don't think you need a new philo. You need to go back and listen to the old philo and go read the text. Screw Tape Letters by C.S. Lewis. And again, that way I'm not telling you as somebody. It's like you read it and you tell me what you get from it. But at the end of the day, that is the main concept, is that, you know, they have your ear. I'm talking to men and women right now. This ain't just one way. The person you decide to spend your life with, that you're giving them influence. You're giving them that role in your life. And if they hold you back, they will. They literally will. I don't even doubt it for a second, is that if you put somebody and there's conflict, you don't think about it, you just get distracted by a pretty face or other factors that don't really, you know, say quality, you're gonna pay for it. And then vice versa. It could be a crown and a jewel in your life. So figure it out. But yeah, you don't need a new philo. You got to go back and listen to the old ones. The youngins don't get that. I mean, yeah, I feel like I learn it more and more every day, but at the same time too, you know how many old dudes I know been married like 17 times? Like, what the fuck? So it's the same respect, man. Just, again, it's time, money, emotions, all of it. It's everything. It's your life. So I would just think about it and understand, you know, about what you value quality-wise. If you have a good standard, you'll be good. If you have a shitty standard, you're fucked. Respectfully. Yeah, Reddit just popped. Advice managing chronic illness as a young woman feeling stuck behind health. Give it your best and try to live without thinking about it all the time, but you got to do your best. I don't know what it is, right? And that's just the thing. Everybody has stuff like, I don't know. I don't have serious chronic illness, but I've had stuff that's like, dude, my body and the pain stuff, like some people have different levels of it. And you just got to not think about it as much, but also like do the right steps and take care of yourself. And that's just the best you could do. I really think mentally, just don't let it drain you. And because at the same time, a lot of like the illness and health, if we feel drained about it, it literally makes us worse physically. So that's why hope is a good thing, and feeling good mentally can help translate to that. But I don't know what it is. And sometimes, like, you know, taking care of yourself to the best of your ability and finding ways to be happy and take care of yourself in your head, that could go a long way. And that's all we could do, right? There is going to be a limit of we could only control what we can control, but like, let go. You know what I'm saying? Like, you have to come to terms and be willing and be okay with it. And if you're willing to accept that it will lead you where you should be, I think it'll turn good in that sense. But just don't fight too much. You see what I'm saying? You fight, you get tired. No? That's what I was saying the other day. I've kind of learned that myself too. And I got a fighting personality, but at the end of the day, sometimes you just got to surrender the thought, you know, and start thinking of other things and say, you know, I can't control this. And it is there, but enough wasting energy on it, and I'm gonna surrender it. Football. All right, man. Spot going, and that's it. You already got me talking philo, baby, so let's run it, man. Let's run it. I will see you guys on over there. And that's why if you don't want to hear conversations like that, then don't become a member. That's pretty much... That's why people will get mad at me for having these conversations. Stock market live! How come you don't say stock market? So yeah, but you could get mad at me. So I'll see you guys there. We'll be back on by Power Hour. See what happens with anything from these little trade deals and whatever headlines. Those will be your drivers. And then, yeah, we'll see where it takes us. But peace.